Oh, damn it.
Like, oh no!
Oh man. Well, I feel like that's a problem that only you have because you're the only one here who streams with no pants on. So like,
I have pants on today.
Wait, you
Just
really
today,
stream
though.
with no pants on?
dude, he does. It's so
Oh, yeah, all
it's
the
so
time.
I
weird.
respect that. I'm not even making fun of you.
All the time.
That's impressive.
I want to.
Why not? I'm gonna be. No one can see my fucking lower half.
I
Yeah,
wanna-
you're doing the
I
Ron
wa-
Burgundy.
I want to figure out a way to like one up you and stream like Snake Out, just like smushy Snake all over my Secret Labs chair, just like my sweaty balls in the middle of July, just hanging down.
Just
Oh,
one
no.
ball just stuck to each leg. Just fucking
Yeah.
spread eagle.
Yeah,
Mm.
looks like
Oh,
looks like somebody's making eggs on opposite side of the pan. You know what I mean? You're like,
Oh no,
like,
no!
like why did you crack those like that? That's such a waste of space. Where's the bacon gonna go? Where's the bacon go now?
There's the bacon.
I came over for bacon and schmegs, and I'm severely disappointed.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, there we go.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I feel like you just gotta do the intro.
I thought you had questions for us.
I have. All right, I'm gonna pose to you guys a question. I have 3 topics here. I had like 3 kind of like sort of not really bits, but like ideas where I had like one joke to say about it. And I wanted to let you guys pick which nightmare topic we would choose from.
Okay.
I like this.
Yeah. I think this could kind of be a fun thing if every week it's someone else's responsibility to figure out what our opening bit's gonna be.
Yeah, it's like Whose Line Is It Anyway, with way more dick and balls involved.
Yeah. All right, so choice number 1, without any context, tattooed goth MILF gets destroyed in brutal 3-on-1.
Okay.
That's your first one. Second one is simp for Satan.
Mm.
And the third one is Thanos snap. But without any context whatsoever. Like I can't. There's a whole thing for that, but you can't know what it is unless you pick that one.
I feel like I gotta have the last one.
That one's the most enticing because you put the most like mystery on it. There's a
Well,
little like
I mean, I
like
feel like,
the thing
tattooed
is with-
goth MILF is definitely like what? How is that enough?
and just the alliteration in simping for Satan is also enticing, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
it is.
You made the last one. You just
Okay,
gave it enough
Okay.
curl on the balls that I just want more.
All right, well, I feel like it's no secret that you're not a huge fan of the MCU. I mean,
Oh,
it's we don't really talk about it a lot, but you have a strong dislike for those movies,
fuck.
and you know, I think one of the
I try to
strongest,
keep it to myself.
yeah, I think one of the strongest points you make though is that Thanos, for being the big bad, is kind of like just can an enemy be the MacGuffin? You know what I mean? Like, can it really be? Like Thanos, the Thanos snap is problematic for a lot of reasons. First of all, like, it's half of all life in the universe, right? So that means, like, he's definitely snapping, like, handicapped kids in wheelchairs out of existence.
Okay.
Like, right out of the gate. You know what I mean? Like there's a little kid, like you know,
Sorry,
like,
little one.
yeah,
Jesus.
like just struggling to get up the ramp to go to grade school that day, and he gets to the top, hits the button to open that door, and then he's just snapped out of existence. All that work for nothing.
Oh, the
Yeah.
worst part is the kid behind him in the wheelchair gets hit with his wheelchair that rolls backwards down the ramp.
But there's also
I was
like,
gonna say it definitely ends with a fucking empty wheelchair full of dust just flying back down that ramp.
but also like it was half of all life in the universe. So like there's puppies and kittens just gone.
Right.
Like cue the fucking Sarah McLachlan video, bro. Like that's fucked up. That's so fucked up. And the thing is like he could have done anything with the glove. So why didn't he just snap and double the resources? It makes no sense. Like this guy has been planning this his entire life. He has a place planned out to go for retirement when he's done. He won't shut the fuck up about it while he's tearing his own daughter apart and put her back together for like years and years and years. He never like thought critically like maybe I could just double the resources or create duplicate planets or do anything else other than just be a dick about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fan argument online about that exact thing. That you know, he could have just made, I don't know, twice the resources in the universe, or made like whole planets full of them.
I gotta be honest, I don't spend a lot of time on 4chan. I don't even know what 8chan is, so I've never taken part in any of those discussions. But the whole point of this entire bit, which like I'm well aware we probably have to cut like all of that up to this point.
No, it's been great.
But the question is, if you had the power of Thanos' glove, what people and be very careful with this answer. Be very careful how you answer this.
Oh no!
Who would you snap out of existence with that glove? If you, I mean, like that, like would it be people who have like private conversations on speakerphone in public? Like that's number one.
Oh god damn
me.
it! That was mine. That was. I'm not even kidding. That's exactly what I went to.
What, really?
Dude, nothing fucking irks me more than that. That's the worst. Like, nobody deserves being torn apart molecule by molecule than those fucking people. Jesus Christ. Like, I try to be accepting of everyone except fucking people that do that. It's the just most self-centered, rude fucking thing you can do. Fuck everyone that does that.
Oh yeah, well, dude, imagine being in like an Uber ride with somebody, like a shared ride.
I
Like
don't
you're drunk, you're trying to get home from the bar. You're like, I want to save $20. I'm gonna take a shared ride. It can't be that bad. And then some asshole on their speakerphone having a conversation about like why their butthole itches, or like what the pussy or what the pussy smelled like, gets in the car and has this really private conversation, like almost like they're performing for you and your poor driver who's like just trying to fucking make money, man.
It
like
is a performance. It's a total performance. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in another sign of the stars aligning and that the podcast is where we're all supposed to be right now, I'm not lying. My thought was not specifically people who are unaware of cell phones, but I guess actually more specifically, everybody who had a Nextel and chirped out in public. Like, if you remember Nextel chirps and you walk into Wawa to grab something, there's always some fucking dickhead behind you who's like, dude, yeah, what's up? What you want me to get you? And then everyone has to hear their dumb fucking order as loud as possible.
And they always have to talk about, like, the drugs they're going to do. Like, yeah, dude, I got us a fucking eighth. Like, all right, we get it. You're super cool, right?
Yeah, but the good news is that it's cold outside, and that means there's gobblers at Wawa now, right? So, I mean,
excellent.
That's a plus.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
With the cranberry sauce. With.
Yeah.
So I have to make a confession. I've never had one.
Never had a gobbler?
No,
dude,
I'm serious.
It is the best way to hate yourself this time of the year. It's fucking incredible. Like, we gotta switch up the self-loathing, and that's the most delicious way to say I fucking hate myself that's ever existed.
My wife swears by them, and I've never had one. And it looks like it's such a sloppy Joe of Thanksgiving foods. It's like there's like turkey, and then there's a bunch of cranberry sauce that you're obviously gonna get on your fucking shirt whenever you eat it.
Yeah,
like, it just looks.
It's a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you accept that going in, like you know that you're gonna be a piece of shit the second you order a gobbler. Like every bite something's gonna fall on your lap. Like even if you use the fucking, like if you're slightly less of a piece of shit, you use the paper wrapper they give you the sandwich like on your lap to catch the stuff.
But then it slips out of the wrapper onto your fucking jeans, and then you're like, you go to like, oh, and then it drops on you. It always finds a way. It always gets on you. And
you only really have two options. Like you could either be the guy who like got silverware and didn't get soup or a salad at Wawa, like be that piece of shit. Or you can like eat it off of your own lap, like the piece of shit you know you are with your bare hands.
Yeah, if you're eating a gobbler at that point, just pick your shirt up and fucking right off your shirt.
Yeah, like if you're eating a gobbler in your car, you know.
You're like, already a shirt eater at that point.
Yeah, but what else are you gonna do? You're gonna get a fucking gobbler bowl like some kind of bitch? You're not gonna do that.
Most shame meals, you eat and it's great while you're eating it, and then you feel terrible after. You feel terrible the whole time you're eating the fucking gobbler. Yeah. Well, it's like shooting up heroin. Like nobody feels good when they do it, but you just have to do it. That's the gobbler.
The problem is it's bread in a bread. It's a bread sandwich. You get that stuffing. You're eating a bread sandwich in bread. You know what I mean? Like it's
like death by fucking bread, dude. Yeah. It's way too much. It's like a shame sandwich.
Sometimes bread is better. No. Cut that. No, I'm sorry.
Absolutely do not cut that out.
Oh, welcome to the Cynical Nerd episode 6, Shame Sandwich. Fucking Pet Cemetery bread is better. I don't know. It was great. I loved every bit of that. I loved every bit of every bit that you just did.
It's pretty good.
Oh, fuck. I'm high on caffeine and empty from poops. So my name's Chris, and I'm the host. With me today, we have Scott and Derek. Derek, how's your evening going, buddy?
It's going good. Getting over a little sickness. I kind of feel how Courtney Love looks a little bit.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not great. I feel like dirty heroin pussy is what I'm saying. I'm
Oh, we're losing Scott.
I'm happy to be here even if it's a day late. That's
Oh my god, dude, you fucking came with it today.
Also, Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing fucking great now. Oh my god.
I was gonna say a day late and a dirty heroin pussy short.
Oh man, I'm sure we can find one.
I'm sorry, we're all fucking chuckle house tonight.
Oh, you gotta stop! You gotta stop with Dane Cook shit, man. That's three. That's a fucking turkey.
Yeah, well, if you say his name 3 times during Halloween, he appears and it tells you, he's like, hey, did you know I was in all these movies with, like, Jessica Alba? And he just tries to tell you about all of his accolades.
So but he has the crescent moon face. Like, it's weird. Like, he has his face as it is currently. It's not like old Dane Cook. It's now.
Yeah. Dane Cook looks like he looked back towards Sodom and Gomorrah, was turned to a pillar of salt.
I was going to say he looks like one of those sculpted Halloween masks where it's supposed to look like a real person, but it doesn't at all because it's clearly plastic. That's what his face looks like.
His head just got so big, and it looks like there's no plot. There's like, his flesh looks like it has no give anymore. Like, it's just not...
Yeah, like, his face looks like if you went to Spirit Halloween and you were like, oh, there's a Dane Cook mask, and then your friend was like, yeah, but it looks nothing like him.
Have you ever heard that story about how Jeff Daniels got stuck in a papier-mâché mask? Or on SNL, like I don't. It wasn't like you know how they do those masks. They put the straws in your fucking nose.
Oh yeah.
And like they were doing like some kind of like face mold to make a mask for him hosting SNL, and he got stuck in it for like 8 hours or something. Couldn't get it off. Somebody apparently had quit SNL, and as like a revenge thing, they fucked up whatever the mixture was. And Jeff Daniels was like entombed in basically cement. His fucking head was stuck in cement.
Adhered to it. Oh god.
Yeah, and they cut his hair and shave his eyebrows off and shit. And Dane Cook looks like if they never did any of that and just kept the mold on Jeff Daniels' head and let him walk around like that for 20 years. It's fucking bad, man.
I didn't know you were going to bring that back around to Dane.
Yeah, dude.
Full circle.
Fucking applause for that one.
Would it be a vicious circle?
Oh, no.
Wasn't that the name of his stupid fucking stand-up where he's
I think it was, yeah.
I'm simultaneously
you press them in the
impressed.
paper and you print the Bible on them. Fuck you.
Yeah, it was 50-50, like just being impressed and just disappointed at the same time by that.
Yeah, exactly. I was split right down the middle. We have some week in review news to go over, and then we have our review of the first episode of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Yes. I do not think we all agree, although we have not talked about it a lot. But we'll see how that goes. So first up, a week in review. It's a trailer for a show that just dropped, and Scott didn't realize at the time, but he was going to force me to binge watch it last night. Yeah. It's called Truth Seekers. It just came out October 30th. It's on Amazon Prime. Nick Frost, Simon Pegg, although Simon Pegg is really just a cameo role in that show. He's not in it a whole bunch. I don't know. Derek, did you get a chance to watch any of it yet?
I watched episode 1. That's all. That's as far as I got into it.
How'd you feel about it?
I don't think I like it as much as you guys do. I don't hate it. Like, it's not bad or anything, and I'm happy to see, Nick Frost in a leading role. But I feel like he's in this, and it's cool he's in a leading role because it feels like most of the shit that he's in now are like he's this weird tertiary role that like really doesn't matter in television. And he's a really good actor and he's a funny guy, so I don't really get why he's like stuck in that trap. So I'm happy to see him leading, but I'm going to give it another episode or two, but I wasn't crazy about it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, now that you mentioned him being in like tertiary roles and stuff, I am so used to him being second fiddle to Simon Pegg that they introduced him, and for like the whole first and like second episode, I'm like, okay, so Simon Pegg's going to be introduced at some point, and like he's going to be the main character. Like I was not trying to be a dick. Like I love Nick Frost. I kept waiting for like the main guy to show up. I was like, okay, we're following sidekick for the intro. I got it.
He's going to listen to this episode of the podcast and just turn it off and never listen to it again. Oh, second to Simon Pegg, huh, Chris? Yeah, thanks a lot.
He's going to tweet out, never listen to these dickheads. I feel like he knows.
He definitely knows. You know what I mean? Like,
he has to know. He has to know.
Yeah. So I listen to these dickheads say bread is better in a Pet Sematary line, and then they just bashed me on their fucking podcast. I happen to like the show quite a bit. It's got. I love that joke. I said Nick Frost didn't. Be mad at him.
Well, then Nick Frost has shitty taste. I guess I don't know.
I rather liked the show. It has a weird. I don't want to spoil anything. It literally just came out, but it's got this really cool, to me at least, vibe of being like a more serious, like supernatural thing, but like. Also not at the same time. I don't know how to describe it. Like it's almost like a Ghostbusters camp, but I don't know. Like Scott, you watched the whole thing, right? You finished it?
Yeah, I literally, like, after we talked about it yesterday, I binge watched the entire series. It's eight episodes, about 30 minutes apiece. So yeah.
Yeah, it was so easy to get through. They just kept fucking rolling.
Yeah.
And you liked it too, right?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely, like you said, definitely has that campy Ghostbusters kind of vibe to it. It does something that a lot of shows really fall flat on well. Like, it tells compartmentalized stories with a bigger arc. And the way they subtly put those callbacks in there, you don't even realize what they're building to yet, and it all kind of comes to fruition at the end in a way that's really satisfying and really fun. I thought the antagonist was cool. It had interesting, like, you know, whatever the fuck you want to call it, like an interesting scheme or plot. I found, like, it wasn't as scary as I initially thought it was going to be. Like, the first episode. Right out the gate, like, it had me thinking, like, oh, this is gonna be like Shaun, something along the lines of Shaun of the Dead, but supernatural.
Right.
And it didn't really have like those big scares, but because you get so used to like laughing, you get so used to like the comedy of it, and like kind of like the simplistic charm of it, like the way it's written, the way that they portray these characters. When there is a scare, even if it's not like some horrifying thing, they still get you with those jumps because you never see it coming. Because just you kind of forget that it's a supernatural horror show at times. It's so well written. You know, you kind of get
I can say
little bits they do.
I can say, like, it kind of surprised me a little bit. Like, the whole show, I'm like, this doesn't seem like a paranormal show at all. Like, it didn't seem like there were a couple of parts that made me chuckle. Like the part where I guess it's his dad is going up on the upstairs downstairs thing, and he's no,
yeah.
But other than that, I'm like,
awesome.
I don't know. It didn't really hit with me. But the part at the very end where the fucking Miss Connolly, I think her name was, just all of a sudden like starts walking around like a dog. I was like, ah! It's like scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me, dude. I was like half paying attention. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. Yeah. All of a sudden I was like, oh my god. Okay.
Because you think it's all over and done with. You're like, all right, well, you know, let me see what I missed on the gram, or whatever whatever the fuck way you waste all of your waking moments. Yeah, and like that just really caught me off. There's a few moments like that within the show. It definitely leans into that like Buffy the Vampire Slayer style camp at certain times, but it does it with characters that are way more endearing and way more relatable and way more three-dimensional than a lot of shows do. I think that's where it really shined for me. It wasn't so much that the supernatural elements were like that incredible, because everything's a rehash of a rehash. Everything's been written, everything's been done. Yeah, But they found a way to do it with a lot of heart in a way that were in these very short episodes. And with a very limited run of episodes, you get attached to everybody who's on the show. You know them all by name. And like I rewatched Avatar 1 last night after all the shit we talked about last week. I still don't remember anyone's fucking name from that movie, and I watched it last night. I don't remember a single fucking name. Sigourney Weaver's in it. I forgot about that. I don't remember her fucking character's name.
Oh, she is? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Also news to me.
Yeah. She turns into a Smurf Gigantess.
No, she did. She big dead.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, the scary stuff does kind of startle you because the series is just so, I don't know, it's just so interesting. It's like just watching people hang out and do stuff. And the dog thing in the first episode, which is the only spoiler I will throw out there, but there's a dog thing where the dog spirit kind of goes into the old lady. And I thought they were going to leave it open-ended. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, look, something weird's happening. So like you see what makes you think is like the dog transferring into the woman. And then you're like, oh, cool. So that'll be followed up in like an episode or two. But you know, she goes at the door and then she just drops all fours, like you said, like skitters up the stairs. And I was like, oh, that's fucking creepy.
Yeah, it was jarring.
There's a trope in horror films that never gets old to bother me, which is the people walking like upside down, like on their fucking, and like that's just always fucking creepy no matter what it is, no matter how many times I've fucking seen it.
It's like that Exorcist Alabama crab dangle kind of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Alabama crab dangle.
Yeah. That's where she leans. That's where she leans backwards, almost like an uppercase C, and you fuck her while your balls are also hitting her in the forehead. It's just.
Right, of course.
Yeah. It takes a lot.
Why Alabama? Because you have to be in Birmingham to do it. That's all. That's where it is.
I think it's because everything is legal. Even sodomy and incest is legal in Alabama. So.
Oh no, we're sorry.
I'm just impressed.
Listeners.
I couldn't have named one city in Alabama. Like it just couldn't have happened. So that's just
This is the only one that came to mind.
I also want to immediately apologize for putting sodomy and incest in the same pool because sodomy's just great. We've already covered that, guys. It's just the bee's knees.
It's a good time. Yeah.
It's just the bee's knees. Oh my god. So there's the only other thing I will say about it, because we're trying not to spoil it since it just fucking dropped, is there's a really cool scene in an elevator towards the end of the season. You know what I'm talking about, Scott? It's at the convention. And it's so much a Simon Pegg, Nick Frost scene. Like, that they had a hand in writing this whole like dialogue exchange. I can't really give it away, but there's a lot of shit going on. It's one of those situations where like the main characters think it's serious or think it's a joke, but it's actually a serious situation.
Yeah.
And the hijinks that come of that. All right, that's Thrill Seekers. It's on Amazon Prime right now, all 8 episodes. If you are interested in it even a little bit, I recommend it. I definitely think it's great. But we have a couple quick pieces of news we're going to run through. These are things like an actor confirmed for a role or a costume look. We're just going to touch on them real briefly. They're mostly here because I want to make fun of it, or at least this first one is. Titans Season 3, the show that looks like, at its best, a highlight reel of very okay moments. They've cast their first look at Red Hood for Season 3. And I only brought this up because it looks bad. The costume does not look good. The head is like bulbous. It looks like bobblehead Red Hood. It looks like bobblehead ripoff Iron Man Red Hood because for some fucking reason, there's like a mouth line right across the front and like little like things that look electronic right here. You don't have to do that with Red Hood. You just gotta have a plain red helmet.
That's 100% intentional though. Like they're doing that because it's as close as they can get without copyright infringement. Like it's 100% intentional that the helmet it looks vaguely like an Iron Man helmet. Like they're gonna fucking
It looks like cosplay. Like it looks like someone built that to go to a con. I don't like it. Also, and this is just maybe the design. He's wearing like shin guards, and his legs look all fucking weird because like he's a scrawny ass kid. So like there's a picture of him in shin guards from the side. I don't know. It just doesn't look good. And that's coming from a show where like one of the better parts were the costumes, in my opinion, in the first 2 seasons. Like the costume work is definitely a grade above like the CW show stuff. Maybe not a huge jump above it, but at least a little bit better. And to see that, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, not only are you jumping into that arc too quickly, I don't know. I'm not excited about it, and I wanted to make fun of it with you guys because I figured,
I feel like that show, like its costume design is inarguably so bad in everything I've seen about it that I was not surprised. I was like, yeah, why not? Like that was literally the end of my like of course. Like, cool. Looks about as good as everything else on that fucking show does. So yeah, sure. Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't know enough about Red Hood to say that it's one way or the other. It just looks like a superhero costume to me. Like it doesn't look like they took any risks. Looks like they just put a leather jacket on. I mean, you said it. A guy cosplaying as Batman or something. Like I don't know. That's all I can say about it. I don't know. He has a hell of a thigh gap, though. Good for him. I'm trying to get that thigh gap back,
I'm trying to work on my thigh gap.
Yeah. I want you to see the silhouette of my balls from behind. Like,
where the fuck is that? Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn.
Right?
Damn.
Yeah. Good for him.
I like how you said that, and Scott was like, oh, shit, I got to see this right now.
Yeah.
Let me get that thigh gap, boy.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it's who gives a shit?
Yeah, it's poo-poo. We have another announcement for another Disney Plus Marvel show. They are apparently Oscar Isaac is signed on to be Moon Knight. Do you guys know who Moon Knight is?
Moon Knight is schizophrenic Batman.
Yes, that's that's probably one of the best descriptions you could make. For
All
him.
All I know about him is like I've seen like little comic strips of him, and it's one of those things. Again, I've always been like, Moon Knight actually seems like something I could get into, and I've just never done it. I don't know what you mean by schizophrenic. Does he like breaks the fourth wall, right?
A little bit, but it's also he's got like multiple personalities. So like truly schizophrenic.
Right.
He goes by different monikers sometimes, like different different secret aliases. He's rich. He's an entrepreneur. He makes his own gadgets. Oh, here's a good one. When we say schizophrenic Batman, maybe it's because his fucking projectiles are called moonrangs, and I'm not kidding.
Wow.
They're called fucking moonrangs.
All right.
It sounds like somebody from the South who like works at a flea market trying to sell you a mood ring. You know what I mean? Like, over here we got our pewter statuettes and our mood rings. Like, fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's like that name is like scraping the top of the fucking $5 DVD fucking bin at Walmart of creativity. Just not even getting your arm down in there, just right off the top.
Yeah, like
Scott's really going hard towards the South tonight, man.
Yeah, well. Sorry.
It's right before election day. You know what I mean? It's got to get it in.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to get myself emotionally prepared for the second Civil War we're gonna have next week. So.
I mean, less than 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
So Mark Spector is the name of the character. He's a mercenary. He's an entrepreneur. He's a rich guy. He's got multiple alter egos. Some of which are called like he's a cab driver, Jake Lockley, millionaire playboy, Stephen Grant. And he, the real difference here, and it's changed a couple times throughout comic history, but the only real difference here is that he actually started off with like superpowers, like legitimate superpowers. He gets them from the Egyptian moon god Khonshu.
Of course.
Bless you. That was 100% a Chris joke, but I had to do it.
Top shelf, top shelf dad joke, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You got out the fucking step stool and you really reached up there and pulled that bitch off the top.
Yeah,
you had to brush the dust off of it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for that.
I gotta be honest. Like I've when we first started talking about Moon Knight earlier in the week, I did like kind of like not a deep dive, but like I put my foot in the pool. And I kind of did some research on the character. It seemed like a really interesting character, but I couldn't find anything that explained why he lost his powers or when specifically. I don't know if there's like different iterations where he loses them in different ways, but it seems like he just started out as a way more unique character and then just became Batman.
Yeah, basically.
Wait, he has powers and then loses them?
I'm not sure when he does, but I know that he's been written with multiple iterations. I think they wrote his powers away for a little bit. Just as like comic writers were going like, what can we do next?
Yeah. Let's make
him
boring.
His powers out for, yeah.
Let's take all the good things and just take them away.
Yeah.
Let's turn him into a real goofy looking Batman for a bit, and then we'll, he can throw his moonrangs at people.
Yeah, I really, yeah.
We're not honing in on the moonrangs, I feel like. All I can say about this is I fucking love Oscar Isaac. Like, I love Oscar Isaac. He's a fucking incredible actor. If you guys haven't seen Ex Machina, you're fucking up.
Oh, it's so good.
It's like a modern fucking. Have you guys have both seen it?
Oh yeah, it's so good.
Oh god, dude, it's like
so
a fucking techie Kubrick movie. Oh my god, dude, it's excellent. It's perfect.
That's an excellent description of that film.
Dude, it's so good. Beginning to start, it never loses its steam.
No.
It's all fucking lean meat. Yeah.
It does feel very Kubrickian.
It's also pretty horny, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big horny for them bots. Am I right?
I mean, let's be honest. If we were all billionaire tech geniuses, you'd make shit you could fuck.
100%.
Like, yeah, I'm bored. Look at Scott saying no. Don't try to be above us, sir.
I would build a couch out of money to bend models over while I fucked them. That's what I would do if I had billions of dollars.
Also fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there was a robot that was like, hey man, let me suck your dick, and be like, all right.
As long as you didn't make it, right? That's not as pathetic to encounter a robot that wants to fuck you, as opposed to programming a robot to fuck you.
I feel like if you're like Dexter's Laboratory building this thing, knowing that you're gonna come in it someday, you're fucking weird. But if like, but if it exists already, it just so happens to be like, hey man, like, I'm not doing anything. You want me to?
Yeah, it's not your fault. It's like when someone buys you Chick-fil-A. It's like, all right, guilt-free. I get to enjoy it. I didn't support them. All right, I can just eat it now.
Yeah, like if you're just hanging out, like, playing Persona 5. or whatever the kind of person who would build a sex robot does in their free time. No. You're just hanging out with your buddy. He built his sex robot. He's playing Persona 5, and the thing's like, "Hey man, this game sucks, huh? Want me to spit on that hog?" You're like, "Yeah,
spit on that hog.
Let's do it."
You're just taking shots at so many demographics tonight. So many demographics have been roasted by Scott tonight. I feel like you would be the kind of like tech genius entrepreneur that you would like subconsciously build a robot that you could fuck. Like,
I'm not that smart, bro. Let's be real here. I couldn't build a fuckable robot out of Legos. Where the fuck am I gonna get an engineering degree?
Oh, Legos! No, they make no pieces. That
too many
work.
Corners.
Yeah, with too many sharp angles.
Not enough fleshy bits in the Lego sets.
Quick callback. If you use the Thanos snap to give it a weebs, would it be genocide or would it be okay?
My God. What would his cutoff be? Would he be like,
this guy
people who like Cowboy Bebop are okay, but the rest of you are fucking gone.
If you've seen Spirited Away, you're totally all right. But if you're one of those motherfuckers,
yeah, you've got lolly hentai on your hard drive, buddy. You're gone. You're done. You're fucking done.
I need an over/under count. How many tentacles have you jerked off to in your lifetime?
Is that how you pronounce that? Lolly? I don't even know. I don't know.
I think it's lolly. I don't know.
Lolly?
Yeah, the same thing they give you at the fucking doctor's office. It's the same pronunciation. Imagine that. Just awful.
Creepy.
Ugh,
yeah, that is creepy.
You guys are the worst.
I have more. I have more thoughts about that.
Also, Thanos snap for furries, dude. I wish the Thanos snap was like a genie with 3 wishes. I would use them all so fast. Is that the line? That might be the line.
I can literally hear.
What's your third one? There's weebs, there's furries, and what's your third demographic here? Who are we alienating from the podcast?
We might as well just
gravy seals. those South Philly trash people,
right? Meal Team 6,
who like carried AK-47s.
Meal Team 6.
Yeah, who carried AK-47s to defend the statue of Christopher Columbus. They're gone too. Only because I know that if I snapped them all out of existence, every news article the next day we would be talking about them and probably calling them gravy seals again, and I get to read about it. And reading the term gravy seals is probably like one of the very few highlights of 2020 I've had so far.
It's pretty solid. The first time I heard it was quite a raucous occasion.
Yeah. Sorry about the way I was a person, guys.
So I just have to spit this out before we continue. All I got in my head when you said that was Thanos coming out like the genie from Aladdin, which is fine. That's not the funny part. Yeah. Then he's like, what 3 wishes would you like? And you're like stumbling over your own words because you can't get them out quickly enough. He's like, would you like 3? And you're like,
that's the waves, that's the furries, that's the gravy seals.
First waves, we only need 6.
and Thanos is like, what?
Yeah.
Weebs, gravy seals. Did you say weebs, gravy seals?
He calls you a fucking ambulance because he thinks you're having a stroke. Revive this guy. I owe him 3 snaps.
I don't think one of his snaps was to have a heart attack. He did that to himself.
Oh my God,
he snapped himself.
All right, back on track. This is another really quick one. They released a picture of the new actress taking over for Ruby Rose on the Batwoman CW show. I know you guys don't watch it, so I only have a couple quick points to make. This is Javisha Leslie. So there's a lot of really terrible people on the internet saying a lot of really terrible things about her,
like furries and weebs.
That is mostly who's trashing this show, I'm sure.
Yeah,
for the reasons you're about to say, anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of really. I mean, it's the internet, so it's whatever you think in your head is probably true. Like, there's a lot of people saying some gross shit about her. My complaint is that there's no fucking eye makeup on her, and that is it's fucking blasphemous. And I'll tell you boys why. Okay,
tell me why, most fuckable dad.
Tell us, MFD. Tell us.
MFD.
Oh my God.
Every person in the Bat family besides Batgirl should have eye makeup on, unless they're doing white eyes. The cowl always has to look like it goes all the way to the eyes. Otherwise, it looks like you're in fucking cosplay. And the only reason Batgirl's okay with it is because her cowl is exaggerated on purpose, and her mask literally goes down to like fucking here. And it's these big, like, doe, wide open eyes. That's totally fine. Hers are not. They're just slightly bigger than her eye holes, and it looks like someone made her a costume. She doesn't look like a superhero. And I know it's CW, so like the costumes are, bleh already. But I photoshopped her with eye makeup on, and I sent it to you guys. And do you think it looks better, or do you agree with me?
I was going to say, like, every time you bring this up, all I can think is I've never heard something so pedantic that I'm forced to agree with. Like, every time it's like, what are you talking about? And then you, like, make your case. I'm like, fuck you. You're right. Like, it really does look like a fucking bad cosplay. But if you just added in that fucking makeup under the cowl, it just, I don't know, it just makes it better.
Yeah. It does.
You are right, but I would just like to say that if I had the remote control from Click that he used to fast forward through all the parts of his life that he didn't want to deal with, I would choose to fast forward every moment of my life until this show is canceled, so we can talk about it then and then never talk about it again. And it's not because I don't like the character. I think Batwoman does have an interesting origin story in some versions of the story. To me, it's just that when you lose your main star, if you can even call Ruby Rose a star with those acting chops, after one season, again, your best bet is to just start over. Like just do something else. Like, yeah, I would have loved to see a Catwoman show. Maybe that would have been way fucking cooler, way more interesting. Because Selena Kyle is just a better fucking character. It's like when you see like, I don't know, like when you see like just I can't even.
Well, I mean, and I didn't want to spend more than this amount of time on this, but they are giving her a little bit of the thief origin. So she's apparently had a rough life and was sort of a little bit of a small time burglar, I guess, Catwoman style, before she somehow stumbles upon this stuff and becomes. I have no fucking idea how she gets there. But having her come from that rough background as opposed to being like a rich member of the Wayne family or someone who's been raised by a rich guy. It's slightly more interesting. I'm sure it's going to be garbage, but it's slightly more interesting. Look, it's if you have the lowest expectations with the CW shows, every so often they surprise you a little bit.
But the thing is, like, I didn't finish Gotham all the way through. I bailed probably about 3 or 4 seasons in.
Fuck that show. Ugh.
You made it 3 or 4 seasons in?
Yeah.
No, fuck that show.
God
I made it like
maybe... guys, I get seasonal affective disorder real bad, and then when that happens, I just mindlessly binge watch stuff.
What can I do to make myself more depressed? Oh, I can watch Gotham.
Gotham actually wasn't that bad. I didn't think. Like it. I mean, it was a show. What I'll say is this: I'm not gonna say that it was great TV, but it was a show about that world that didn't have Batman in it, and I didn't at any point be like, "Where the fuck is Batman? This doesn't have enough Batman." And the thing is, a lot of these shows that are written, written in this vein, like where they're supposed to be, like a passing of the mantle, essentially. Like it always feels like it's missing something.
Mm-hmm. Throwing shit.
I would be stoked to see like different versions of shows that we haven't seen in live action yet, like maybe like Batman Beyond.
Oh hell yeah!
Like the rumors of Keaton,
the
rumors of Keaton coming back as old Bruce Wayne for a Batman Beyond. Like I know that's been floating around on.
Yeah, for like 15 years.
Yeah. But like something like that, I would get really excited for. I would get really excited to see a more in-depth origin story for Poison Ivy, for Catwoman. So it's just, to me, it's you just picked a character that wasn't really that interesting, and you banked on it having Ruby Rose in the lead because everyone was just fawning over her because she is absolutely beautiful. But it's I don't know. It doesn't feel like it had any substance to begin with. I tried to watch an episode of it on HBO Max in preparation to talk about this, and I couldn't even make it 10 minutes into the episode. So sorry about that.
It was an admirable effort, though.
It really was.
Yeah.
There was just to tag onto your Keaton as an old Bruce Wayne. There was legitimately a script idea for a Batman Beyond film, and before they decided on doing Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins film, that was one of the options that were on the table.
Yeah,
they were like, "Do we want to do like a Batman Beyond or something?" All right, moving on to the next piece of news. So we have some more trouble at Microsoft. There's a game called Everwild. And the creative director, Simon Woodroffe, has resigned from his position at Rare. So this is one of the studios that Microsoft purchased and brought in-house alongside now huge studios like Bethesda. Yeah. I mean, this coupled with the second piece of news, and I'm just going to combine them because they're the same topic, doesn't really look great. And I don't know if it's Microsoft, like, putting their hands in these studios' day-to-day affairs too much, and they're not happy with it. Because on top of this news, we also had news that the head of 343 Industries, currently making Halo Infinite, Chris Lee, has also stepped down, which is the second director to leave that project since its inception. Tim Longo, was the first one to leave in 2019. I don't know. Doesn't sound fucking good, Scott. What do you feel about this? How do you feel?
I think
you're fond of me lobster, ain't you?
I can't fucking look at that.
I think.
Bad luck to kill a seabird.
I think the foe says it all here. If I'm being honest. I mean, when it comes to Rare, man, like, I feel like most things that Rare have made over the years have had an immense amount of heart go into them. From the Donkey Kong Country trilogy on Super Nintendo, which I think is still like one of the most iconic platformers of all fucking time. If we're being honest, like those 3 games specifically.
So good.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you even have like Jet Force Gemini. You have games like Conker's Bad.
That game is so good.
Yeah,
Excellent game.
Like,
oh my god, I'm so glad you guys agree. Fucking game is excellent.
Like, dude, Rare Replay coming to Xbox, even without certain Nintendo properties that they obviously couldn't port over, was still like just such an overwhelming reminder of their body of work and how much it like enhanced my childhood, like, for a lack of better, like, it was just every game that they make is a fucking banger. Every game that they make, you can tell a lot of time and thought and effort went into not only world building but the narrative, everything. Like, and to see somebody step down from a project like this, something has to be terribly, terribly wrong, because they don't have a history of infighting or anything of this kind. You know what I mean? Like, so
right.
I don't really know what the fuck it means as far as Rare is concerned. I honestly was not even familiar that this game was in production. I don't know much about it, which, you know. So
they didn't release a lot of info about the game yet. So a lot of people don't even really know what the gist is supposed to be. They had a little bit of a teaser, I think, when they first announced it, and that was it. It's, you know, I don't know, Derek. Before I say anything else, how do you feel about it, Derek?
So,
thoughts?
Yeah. So, like, first and foremost, I didn't even know Rare was still a studio. I thought they had been like Dunzo for a while. But I agree with everything you said about their games. They're all excellent. They're just oozing with charm. That being said, you know, watching this trailer, which I had never really heard a lot about this game before it was in the doc. It looks, I know it's just a cinematic trailer, and I usually hate cinematic trailers for this reason. They're not showcasing anything about the actual gameplay.
Right.
But it looks like they took the like serene, peaceful aspect of like Breath of the Wild and just fucking cranked it. Like, I was super into that trailer. That being said, like, you know, I just wanted to say something nice before I started talking shit on Microsoft. I feel like I can't agree with like anything that they've done in the past like year. It just seems like they're scrambling a little bit, like scooping up, you know, Bethesda and all the, like, I feel like it's an act of desperation, and scooping up those games and these developers has basically like made them have to push all their shit back. It just seems like there's something like there's like this bloating happening in the company where like they don't know what to do with their assets and resources. So people are like, fuck this. I mean, 2 directors have left fucking 343 now. Like, you're leaving. Halo's one of those, it's a golden goose. Even if it sucks, people are going to buy it. So for not 1, but 2 people to leave, knowing that basically in one way or the next, their game is going to be a hit, whether it's like Infamy or you know, the other, it's like something horribly wrong is happening here.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, Infinite being pushed back, they're releasing the multiplayer and the single player separately. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
I didn't even know that. That's not good.
And they haven't even released like which is coming first or when. It's just like, oh, we're going to release the multiplayer and we're going to release the single player campaign at separate times, but whether not which one comes first or when either of them are going to be, it's just like, what are you guys doing? It feels like they don't know what they're doing. And if you guys remember, like, this is kind of what Sony went through with the PS3, where they made all these bad decisions when that console released. And for like years afterwards, they were just trying to put all the pieces back together, which now they've done. And it's like, now Microsoft is just, I don't know. It looks ugly. I don't know what else to say.
I think it's one of the reasons that the PS4 had such a banger lineup of exclusives. And it's the only reason, to be honest, I bought any console at all, was because the PS4 exclusives I could not get on PC. And they were all very interesting to me. I'm very happy I bought a PS4. I'm looking forward to what comes out in PS5.
Yeah.
I feel like we had touched on this when we first spoke about the Bethesda purchase. like PlayStation had overcharged for the PS3. I think we had said like they kind of like just mishandled their launch in a lot of ways, and as a result, they had to like license out a lot of their what used to be exclusive properties and make them like third-party properties. So they had studios that formerly had worked exclusively for PlayStation that were now making games that were going to be cross-platform for like almost a 10-year cycle. Now like all those contracts are up, and it seems like Xbox has become too reliant on that cross-platform availability. They haven't really been building up their exclusives. Like we saw the entire lifetime of the PS4, just kind of like banger after banger, like sleeper hit after sleeper hit. I mean, like from God of War to The Last of Us to Spider-Man, even like games that maybe aren't as popular, like 1847. Like they'd had like
1887. Yeah,
1887. Games like Until Dawn. They just like had a bunch of smaller exclusives that all had just really unique experiences that you couldn't get anywhere else, and that was the biggest selling point for the PS4.
Yeah.
Like right now, like I don't have a single reason to own an Xbox within the first year of its cycle, maybe even its entire cycle, because again, like Phil Spencer's on this fucking tangent where he's talking about like, well, we're not so concerned with selling systems as we are making sure people can play our games on every platform, whatever the fuck he's saying. Like maybe I'll just play everything that they've released that's worth playing on PC. Maybe there'll be a platform where you like we talked about before, you plug in a controller and you play on your fucking phone, like on your phone at work while you're bored. Like you don't know where it's gonna go, but they're not really making any kind of case to purchase a Series X right now in any capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
They're doing really good from like a services offering, right? Like the Game Pass is a good deal, especially like Xbox Game Pass for PC. It's like $5, and there's legitimately I pay for it every month. I think it's a good deal. But you would have thought that throughout the entire lifetime of like the Xbox One, they would have said, "Oh, we're getting our asses beaten exclusives," and then you started to fucking do something about it for this console generation. And we thought they were, right? Because when they started announcing the newest, whatever XX, AAA dog new fucking console title is coming out, they started announcing all these studios that they were gobbling up, and
that
you're
one
like,
sounds
"Oh,
good, though. It really does."
Yeah,
sounds like a real banger.
Yeah, that one had a beautiful cinematic.
IGN 9 out of 10. Yeah.
They started announcing all these studios they're buying up, and you're like, "Oh, cool!" So they got the hint, but they just announced that they're buying them. When they announced the console, like, there's no way that it's going to be midway through the fucking console generation before they have anything to show for it. Yeah. If they don't start ruining studios, like it looks like they might be doing, and I don't want to infer too much from directors leaving, but it just doesn't look good, especially Infinite, right? Like Everwild, maybe the guy wanted to fucking retire. I don't know, but Infinite, you have 2 directors leave. And within a couple years span, it's fucking no bueno. And
the game looks like dog shit. It's not just the director.
It also looks like dog shit.
Looks so bad.
It somehow looks like a shittier version of Destiny from what I've seen. Like, I don't know how that's possible, but it looks like it's a worse Destiny.
I didn't even know this until I read the article, but they didn't even, and there's not even a new release date. Like, it's not like Cyberpunk where they're like, we need to push it a couple months. Like, they just said, not coming out at launch. We don't know when it's gonna. Like, that's bad. What fundamental issue did you find that you have to go? We're not gonna give you a fucking release date.
So what I think,
crazy.
Yeah, it is. And what a lot of people think, like this isn't a unique opinion, is that essentially they realized, because it was supposed to release like 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
That they realized, like, whenever that dropped, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever it was, like, oh, this is not ready yet. And so they released it so that people would complain and like feel okay with the delay, and no part of that plan worked if that was the plan.
Oh no, not at all.
And if it wasn't the plan, it still didn't work. Like, people are fucking not looking forward to this game at all. It looks so terrible. It looks so boring. It looks like they've expanded on absolutely nothing. And here's the issue with Halo, is that when they do new things, people still complain because they have a super toxic, just like tumor of a fucking fan base.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's like,
polyps,
to me,
really.
I hope that this
polyps.
is the anal polyp that just like fucking cuts off circulation and ends the entire thing, because nobody's going to be happy either way.
Yeah, right to the brain.
Yeah. That's my one hope, that this just ends it, because nobody's going to be happy either way. When they stick to same old, of course people are unhappy because it's boring. But when they do new things, people aren't happy either. So it's just time to let it fucking die. It's over.
The problem with Halo, like, it 100% needs to fucking die. Like, it needs to end. But the problem isn't the gameplay, I don't think. You know what I mean? Because like when I think of my fondest memories of Halo, I think of me and you on your sofa in your living room, Derek, when we were like 16, 17 years old, playing Halo 2, playing Halo 3, playing Reach, playing multiplayer. And it's not so much that the gameplay was ever spectacular. It was. We all have fond memories because like that was one of the first games you could play online with your friends. One of the first games you'd have LAN parties for. One of the first games you'd have everyone over for a weekend sleeper when you were too young to go out and drive around and do anything. So it has like all this built-in nostalgia that the fanboys can't fucking let go of. But when you play those games again as an adult in like the Master Chief Collection, you realize it's the same fucking game. The same cold, sterile environments. The same, like, oh, we found another ring. No shit. It's Halo Infinite because there's infinite fucking rings and no new narrative. That's why it's Halo Infinite. It's never gonna end. Their plan for this cycle is to make a game that, like Destiny, can evolve. So they have to stop pretending that there's a new story to tell. They can just keep telling the same story and stretch it out.
No, honestly, they announced a 10-year cycle for this game, so that's not even an exaggeration. They want this game to last 10 years. Yep.
Yeah, and it's just it's not like it's not gonna make it 10 years. It shouldn't. No, it's just.
Can we all just applaud them for the? I mean, really, just choice decision to try and convince people that by not giving Master Chief a real name, they were somehow being like, I don't know, unique or
he does have a real name.
Doing something
John,
amazing.
Right?
It's John. Yeah. So it's still not unique.
Yeah. They might as well not give him a name.
It's John. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was born of pure laziness when the game was first written? They were like, "Who's the main character? I don't call him Master Chief. His name's John.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's
a video game. They won't fucking care.
He's shitty Doom guy, is what he is.
Yes.
And the Covenant are like the most confusing hodgepodge. Like it could have been so cool to have an alliance of all these different unique alien races that'll have their own motives and maybe came together and had like a singular vision to bring about peace in the way they viewed, which is ultimate destruction. But they didn't spend any time building the lore for these characters. Like there's more lore in Destiny in the fucking Grimoire cards than there is in all of Halo, and that's the fucking crime of it. Because I'm not gonna read a 300-page book to find out what the fucking motivation for this sub race whose name I can barely fucking remember. Like
that's what I was gonna say. Like there's two parts to this, and it does relate to the fucking Grimoire cards of Destiny, where like, dude, when you read them, it's excellent. That lore is like great, but it should be in the fucking game that you bought, obviously.
Yeah. It is in the game, man.
Yeah, you just have to kill 500.
You just have to unlock it in order to get it on your app. In order to read 1/5 of it, and then you get the other Grimoire card. What a nightmare!
Yeah. Good luck being on your Destiny mobile app, reading Grimoire cards, and ever getting your dick sucked by your significant other again. Good fucking luck.
But the thing is, the lore in Halo is excellent in the expanded universe. But this is the second part. Like I said, 2 parts. Like we've said a million times before, we talk about shows. Oh, it gets great in season 4. You want me to give 40 hours of my life before this gets good? It's the same thing with this. You shouldn't have to read 4 books to make the video game good. Yeah, that's an incredible thing to expect of people. So like, if you're giving out these outlines to writers, you know what you want your story to be. You just didn't make it that way in the game. You could have had that story and that depth in the game. You just didn't do it. Yeah. I love Halo 2 and 3, but when people talk shit on them, I 100% understand. I totally get it.
Those games are the best, but they're all still like late 90s Mountain Dew commercials. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? You're gonna do a Halo jump in Halo? What does he say? What does he say? Giving it back or something like that. You're like, oh man,
giving the Covenant back their bomb.
Yeah. Like, okay, Nicolas Cage. What the fuck was that? And the thing,
awesome, whatever.
Yeah. The big. This is the last thing I'll say because I could just endlessly verbal diarrhea on this game forever. The biggest problem with Halo, again, it's just like when the most compelling relationship in your game is the silent protagonist and the AI is doing all the heavy lifting, there's a real problem in the writer's room. And that's not even a joke. It's just a really sad reality because when we were younger, we didn't know. Like Halo, it was the most cinematic game that we had seen in that genre, by far.
Right.
Because there was not much else to really base it on. It outshines
totally
Super Mario World as far as narrative 100-fold. but Donkey Kong Country, I don't know, man. That note when you find out Donkey's missing and the bananas are gone in Donkey Kong Country 2, I'd say that's pretty on par with the entire narrative of Halo 2. Aside from the part where they're actually attacking Earth and there's real stakes that you give a shit about for 20 minutes.
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, we can all ramble about how much of a garbage series Halo is, but we're already way behind schedule because we like to talk. So
yeah, and here's the thing: I have to take my pee break early. It's happening. I have to do it.
All right,
go ahead.
Talking shit. I got to do it.
All right. All right. What's something you love that I can talk shit on?
I love Halo 2 and all the voice acting in it. Have at it. Just an extension of the previous. Yeah. Make it. Just keep going with it. Right. You can make this work. You put a period on it and then you just start again.
Yeah, really.
you dirty fucking liar.
Yeah.
Quick. What does he like?
I mean, recently we had a conversation about him loving Death Stranding, which to me, like,
oh
yeah, you remember that one? You remember that one?
Fetch Quest, the game.
Yeah. The Amazon Prime overworked, underpaid worker simulator. Yeah. The essential worker eating McChicken in his van while sobbing simulator.
It's almost kind of like like being an Amazon delivery guy during COVID simulator. Like you're like dodging all these fucking creatures outside, trying to infect you and murder you.
Oh God, it's the thing is, like, with that game, man. I understand that there is a cinematic quality to it, but I get taken out of it when there's characters named Die Hardman and Dead Man and it was just so I don't know.
Well, you didn't get to any of the good story beats because they're hidden behind plot device, man.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I put about 20 hours in this. I've tried to play the game 3 times now. 3 times, and every time I do it,
wow.
And every time I'm like, you know what, man, fuck it. Like, I don't remember anything that happens. I know it's like 10 hours of grinding to get to where I was last time or so. I'll skip all the side quests. I'll just beeline it through the story and try to get through it. First time I played it, I made it to like chapter 3. Second time, made it to chapter 3, stopped again. Last time I played it, I made it like 5 hours into chapter 2 and was done. I just can't.
You're like, why am I trying to do this?
Yeah, I can't. There's certain things to it that like it could be cool, but it's like you also fight the beach things, the BTs, with your blood and your urine and your poo poos, and it's like I don't want to throw my BMs at the BTs, bro. I just don't want to do it. It's not like I get it, but also like the fact that like I don't know, man. The whole thing just seems very convoluted and stupid. Like there's an entire subset of enemies in this game that chase you because they're addicted to delivering packages. Like that's not how that works. Like people don't get addicted to serotonin they get at work. If that was in any way a thing, people would be working for free. Like I mean, like it's not how it fucking goes. That's not why it paints this picture where like in the future people are so fulfilled by likes and acknowledgement, like it's a kind of a cool thing to play on because we all definitely get our little hits of serotonin through social media all day every fucking day when we're having a bad day. But the fact that like there's a subset of enemies that get their kicks and their serotonin from stealing your packages and then delivering them, like there's it just doesn't make any fucking sense.
That's great.
I'm assuming for the first time this talking shit segment didn't end on the lighthouse. Sounds like it's ending on Death Stranding.
Yeah, it is. It's been all Death Stranding all day.
Yeah, we went straight for it.
Yeah. I will never defend that game. It's a game that I love that I'll never defend. Every bad thing someone says about it, I'm like, you're absolutely correct. That is 100% true about that game.
I gotta be honest, that takes a lot of the fun out of it, though. I gotta be honest.
I'm sorry, but I mean that genuinely. I'm not like
I know.
trying to take that from you. I get it. It's a bad game, but I just love it.
That's the second talking shit that you've just ruined wholeheartedly.
I feel like I'm gonna have to change up the dynamic and just
take
talk shit on something.
Power. Now it's mine.
I'm gonna have to talk shit on something that I just dislike. It doesn't have to be something he loves. You know what I mean?
That's fine.
Because I feel like
you gotta find a sweet spot, something I could take or leave. Then I'll feel like I have to be offended over it.
Yeah. Nah, but I mean, dude, it's like there's a paywall in that game, but like you're spending something way more valuable than money, like the time you can't get back, you can be spending with your children.
It's your time,
or like your significant other, like building that bonds. Or I don't know, man. Even jerking off. Like at least you'd come if you jerked off for 10 minutes. If you deliver packages for 10 minutes, your star rating for a development site's gonna go up like a fraction of a star. What the fuck am I doing? Why the fuck? Like I don't understand it.
And you could like build a road over the rocky thing and like make it easier, and then you get there, it's like 20,000 whatever the unit is in that game. It's like
likes.
I'll
the
just
unit
take
is
my
likes.
time. Likes.
I'll just take my time.
Yeah.
What? Oh God, I can't imagine a more on the nose fucking parable than like trying to act like people are addicted to social. Like no shit, people are addicted to social media.
Yeah, but that's probably because reality's miserable.
You're right. It's shallow. I still love it. I still love
God.
it. I love Kojima. He's my daddy. I love him.
The one thing is like, everything Kojima does is kind of like it's well done, but like the writing's always kind of like
also bad. It's so bad. That's why I love it. It's like so.
Metal Gear Solid 3 is I think where it hit like it jumped the shark entirely. Like when there's that fucking dude the end where like, oh yeah, like remember when we let you change the controller port for Psycho Mantis and you could just beat him real easy? Well, if you fast forward your console clock a week, this guy just fucking dies, baby.
Yeah.
He just dies.
Oh shit.
You can also like, no kidding, earlier in that game, like there's a part where like he's across the dock and you have like 3 seconds, he like turns around and goes in and a door shuts. You can just snipe him and then you just skip the whole end fight.
Man, I'm gonna do
That's
that.
amazing.
That's my least favorite Metal Gear Solid game, and I know that amount of trivia on it. Okay, I fucking love Metal Gear Solid. They're terrible. They're so bad. That's why I love them. I don't know.
It's like that Nick Cage movie kind of thing, but it's a long format. Like where
Except
like
Metal Gear 2. Metal Gear 2 is the best game that's ever been made in all of history.
Metal Gear Solid's very, very good.
It's fucking incredible.
Although I still hated that fucking
You hated what?
You hated what?
I hated the bait and switch. Like the demo was like the only time you play as fucking Solid Snake in the entire game, and you have to play as this whiny bitch. Like Raiden becomes awesome, but it's not until the game where you
like
beat up a
3/4 of the way through the game.
Yeah, I didn't hate him. I don't know. I remember there being a big argument about there, like, oh, the bait and switch. I didn't hate him. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed that game a whole lot. To this day, I still say fish and mailed a lot whenever I fuck something up and no one understands the fucking reference.
It's so cinematic. That's why it's my favorite. It's such a fucking movie. It's like a well shot movie. That's what's so good about it.
Yeah, it is Die Hard basically.
Yeah,
with
more or less.
Way better henchmen.
Yeah, I mean, you're literally like on a fucking oil rig in the middle of the ocean trying to stop terrorists.
Yeah.
And I also will say, because you said it in a very quick moment, that Psycho Mantis thing is one of my top 5 video game memories, probably from my whole life. When I realized that was happening before like, the internet was a fucking thing, and before I didn't have like the guide in front of me, and I realized what they were trying to get me to do, my mind was fucking blown.
Yeah. Or like when he
was incredible.
When
and in this remake that they're proposing, it's going to be like, you've been playing Hentai Tentacle Simulator. You're like, whoa! Like, thank God I have headphones on. That's going to be a nightmare.
That would be fucking, oh God.
It would be amazing. All right, we got to get back into it. So next up, this is pretty quick because there's not a lot of specifics about it. There is a live action Assassin's Creed series coming to Netflix in a deal that Ubisoft has made. Let me posit it this way to the both of you. Is it more likely, in your opinion, that this is going to be a hot, steaming pile of garbage to throw on the ever-growing pile of video game movies that are poor, or video game films that are very shitty adaptations? Or do you think it's somehow going to pull through and surprise you with a quality series? And I will say, before either of you answer, as a video game, I rather like the very stupid lore of Assassin's Creed. Now, they've mostly just done away with it completely in later games, but the idea of it when it first came out, I thought was very neat. And till this day, I still kind of think it's neat. I don't know. What do you think, Derek?
I agree with everything you just said. It's weird that we're lining up here. Like, the first couple were great. Not the first one. That was kind of limp-dicked, but the Ezio trilogy. And even
Ezio trilogy is fantastic.
People hated 3 where you played as Connor, and I liked that one. I mean, it was
I didn't hate 3 either. That was when they introduced running through like trees and shit, and I thought I was like, well, of course you should be able to do this. It's fucking great.
And even the one after that, Black Flag. Well, most people like Black Flag.
Yeah, that was pretty well received.
But I liked that too. I feel like you were finding out secrets of like the fucking Freemasons and shit. Like, that was cool. It's fiction, of course, but it felt like you were really uncovering something. And I think like that era of it was amazing. I think since then it's been pretty fucking bad the past couple. Even the ones that play well, like Origins and Odyssey, are just really bloated. Like, it's like they take every objective and instead of making it interesting, they just like make it 8 times as long to get to one, so you feel like you're in this gigantic world.
Yeah.
That being said, like, do I think it's most likely that this is going to suck? Yes. But do I think that that's an inevitable thing that's definitely going to happen? No. I actually thought that the movie was overall not good, but there were things it did really well. Like the aesthetic of it was awesome. The music was incredible. And all the like dives and stuff were really cool. Like the story was dog shit, but I mean, like Michael Fassbender can only do so wrong. And so there was like a lot that was done decently enough. Like I don't remember anything that happened in that movie, but I remember like finishing it and being like, that wasn't as much of a train wreck as I thought it was going to be. So, you know, a show, I know they haven't released any details. Like I think it just got greenlit. So there's no like team, director, actor, or anything like that. But I'm not like carting it out entirely. But to answer your original question, is it most likely to be dog shit? Yes.
Scott?
I mean, I basically I agree with everything you both just said, 100%. I think
that might be our first one of the night. All.
I think the biggest problem with the movie was that there's way too much lore to try to force that into such a small time frame. You end up skipping a lot of crucial things. If they were to follow some of the, like, I think honestly the first one gets shat on a lot because the mechanics weren't as polished. It was very repetitive. Like, it was very slow to learn the mechanics at first because it was a brand new concept. By the time they hit their stride with the Ezio trilogy, you already knew what to do. They could get you right into the action and focus more on story than teaching you the building blocks of this whole new weird, like, free running system.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I feel like almost all of the kills in the first Assassin's Creed were meant to teach you a new skill or to force you to master it in order to get that perfect clean kill. As opposed to like just running. Like if you played it like an assassin, it was a very rewarding game because every kill in the first one was so difficult. Tracking down all those fucking flags. If you're a completionist and a hunter, you had to be a free running god to find all those like fucking flags hidden all over the world, and to hunt down all the Templars and stuff. It was a very great game, and I think the lore in the first one and the way they built that story up and kind of explained the world and the way it worked would work as like the first season of a show. The problem is, I think after the show would work best in a format where it's very much like the games, where like it is like American Horror Story. Every season's a different character in a different era, telling his storyline out to a conclusion, move on to another person in that lineage.
That's a great idea.
That's the only way it works for me. That's the way that it works best for me because that would capture the heart and the feel
just
of
hit
the
it,
game.
Man. That's the way to do it.
I can see the smirk on Derek's face where he's like, "Fuck yeah, bro!"
like if that bit of news gets announced, if they decide to do it as an anthology series in that way, I'm 100% on board. Because short form it didn't work because it you just couldn't get all that lore in there, and there's so much to explore.
Yeah.
And the thing with an anthology series is once you explain that lore in the first season, you don't have to have a bloated second season where you're forcing that back in. That's already taken care of. People are coming back because they like what you did before. You can, again, like they did with the later games, hyper focus on those big moments and build the story up in an even more satisfying way and take it in new directions. Like,
you're actually killing this right now. Like, they should hire you, is what I'm saying.
Like, hey, Ubisoft.
We'll clip this and tweet it at them.
If you're still here after all the Southern and weeb bashing, this is really the.
Let's be honest, though. There's no weebs in the. Let's be honest. There's no weebs in the South. You know what I mean? Like. The saying is,
at least not admittedly, they're not going to come out and say it now. They're going to be like, no, there are.
The saying is,
that's when they get got.
The saying is, the South will rise again, not the South will watch hentai on the sofa and come on their own lap. That's not how the saying goes, boys.
But you can imagine if it was.
Ooh, that came close to breaking.
Yeah,
that came close to breaking me.
That might have been walking the line there. That was some Johnny Cash shit.
Another thing I want to add before we get too far away. Another thing you were saying about like what the first couple games did right.
Yeah.
That I want to add is like making you question your decisions. Like, remember how every time you killed one of the Templars in the first one, it's like you kill a Sultan or something because he has everyone sort of under his control.
Yeah, he was having lavish parties while people were starving.
Yeah, but his whole thing was like, all right, well, I've been feeding these people, and now who's going to feed them? Like, did you actually save a higher, like, net amount of people?
Yeah.
Just because it was the right thing to do. I thought like all those things were excellent because it was always like, oh, did I just do the right thing? Like
I kind of forgot about that aspect of it, but you're right. Like they every single time it was like a gray morality question of like, you've killed me, but now no one's caring for the livestock or some shit. Like there was always some like
there was always a very
some
clear,
kind of Yeah, there was some kind of gotcha at the end to where you're like, oh shit. All right.
Fuck,
well, I
I'm
mean,
gonna play through the first couple ones now.
Yeah,
God
dude,
damn it.
and the twist is
no, skip the first one.
No, you don't.
Go right to 2.
No, because the thing is, like, 1 gets a lot of shit again because the mechanics aren't polished, but it is, I think, an incredible story. I think it's so good. And the twist, man, like the first time you played it, that twist at the end, come on, dude, come on.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna play the first one though.
It was so well received, even with its clunky mechanics, that we got the Ezio trilogy as a result.
That's
true. What did you guys think? I'm just curious. What did you guys think of Revelations, the third of the Ezio trilogy? There was a big divide on that. I'm curious what you guys thought.
I liked it. That wasn't that one where he goes to like the Ottoman Empire.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked that one a lot again because I really enjoyed Ezio as a character. I mean, he was so well fleshed out by the third game that anything he wanted to do, I was on board with. I was like, yeah, let's follow this guy around.
Is that the one where they kind of flush out like God as a weird like I'm trying to think, like, there's so many that
it's the one where you go back and you play as like old man Altair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's like a couple segments where you play as Altair again. I loved it. It's my favorite one, which is apparently blasphemy. I don't care. I thought the story in that one was incredible. I loved going back to play as Altair. There's literally a part where you play as him. He's like 80 years old, and you go back to the original assassin home base.
Yeah.
And he literally can't even climb walls anymore. He's so old. And you go up this ring, and like there's this line of assassins that are like ready to fight you, and you just parry them, and you like disarm them, and they just bow to you one by one. You're just like you're 80-year-old man, just like doing just the right movement to like disarm them and like make your way. It's so fucking cool, man. It's so good.
I gotta replay it.
Yeah,
it's been. I haven't played it since it first came out, so I honestly remember almost nothing about those.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna do it now. It's decided. I just want to do it now. I have goosebumps right now just thinking about that part. It's so amazing.
I got little goosies.
That's some goosies here.
I honestly did not expect us to spend that much time talking about it, but it really did hit me in the nostalgia there.
Yeah.
Talking about those early games. Those early games especially, I mean, fuck, yeah, they were just fun. And now, they, like you said, I liked Origins, but let's be real, they're not really Assassin's Creed games anymore. They're just like open world RPGs. Yeah. Like they don't like. There's none of the whole like. I don't know. None of the stealth kills ever really matter. At a certain point, that you can't do enough damage to even kill anybody with one shot, which makes no fucking sense. But whatever. I liked Origins. I thought it was a fun game.
Yeah.
I dumped like 70 hours into that fucking thing. Like I genuinely enjoyed it, but it doesn't hold a candle to, nor is it anything like those original games. Yeah. So that's all.
I put like 20 into both, and then basically got to the point that you're talking about, where like your assassinations did like 1/10 of their total.
Yeah, it'll do like a third of their health or some stupid shit. You're like, what? They're too.
Yeah.
All right, so we have to bitch about Twitch for a couple minutes.
Ooh, only a couple minutes.
Just a couple.
Yeah, and then we're running long already, and we got 2 quick pieces of news, and then we have our Mandalorian review. So, there's 2 things, and this is actually a little older. It happened, I don't know, 10, 11 days ago. Twitch started just hammering people with DMCA takedowns, and we didn't really cover it, but all of us stream in some capacity, and I mean, I had to stop. I always had song requests on my channel. I had to turn them off and very quickly set up their new fucking soundtrack piece of software, which admittedly works in a very neat way, but it sucks, overall. I mean, it's a pretty limited quantity of music. And then they just, so it's kind of gotten to this point where they were basically telling streamers, people were like, how do we know when you're done with these DMCA, this one big wave, and you kind of turn them back on, that we're not going to get our channels deleted. This is how we make a living, whatever. And they basically just said, delete your library, which is kind of fucking crazy to tell somebody who's devoted their livelihood to making content to just wipe it the fuck out. Scott, how do you feel about this?
Twitch is.
I know how you feel about it. Take it away.
Twitch is a soulless conglomerate. Like legitimately, like it is no surprise that it was bought out by Amazon, that Jeff Bezos owns it, because it is a soulless, joyless, endless grind. It's a vacuum where joy goes to die. And the problem is, streaming should be fun. It should be a thing where you hop on. You don't have to stress. You come there as an escape from whatever the fuck's bothering you. Not everyone does it professionally. Not everyone can make that level. But for a lot of people, it is a creative outlet. Is a way that they make friends, especially now when everyone's under lockdown. It's a way that you branch out. Like some of the people that I'm probably the closest with, in a weird way, are people that I met through streaming that live in other countries across the fucking ocean. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's this is just another notch. Like, it seems like every day streaming gets less fun. They find another way to take a little bit of joy out of it. If I can't play a 30-second clip of I'm on a boat for a bit, you know what I mean, without having to worry about getting my channel banned. Like, every ounce of music I own, I paid for, whether it's owning actual albums on iTunes or whether it's paying for Spotify. That's like pulling up to a fucking club and like arresting people because they're dancing to music but they don't own the fucking album. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. If you're not illegally downloading music, you should have the same rights to use it as you would at a house party or a business. If you want to charge us $5 more a month for a professional account, like the way that they handle like Spotify accounts through bars and restaurants and things like that, so many streamers would be on board. I'll pay $20 a month. Just let me use the shit like with however you consider legally use it. Let me use it in that way. I don't mind paying more money. Just don't bust my fucking balls. And decide to do it like 2 or 3 years into something where it hasn't been an issue up until now. Sorry.
Right.
That was a rant.
Yeah. Derek, how about you?
That's essentially how I feel about it too. I can't stand when a lot of people do this thing where they pretend like everything is so simple, where they just go like, why can't cell phones be free? They should just make them free. Like, I hate those like generalities. Really though.
I like that voice you made.
Yeah. That's the voice for that person. Yeah.
There's a way to do this, right? Like, and this is what I was thinking about earlier when I was thinking about like kind of like what I was going to say tonight. Like, honestly, if you took like a partnership between Twitch and Spotify, and you made Twitch streamers pay even $50 a month to be able to broadcast what they're playing, and you only put the streamer in control of what they're playing, you know, it would more than cover whatever they had to pay in because essentially, like, you think about bars have to pay something yearly to basically have people cover songs and shit like that. Like, there's a way to do it, is my point. Like, you could make Spotify absurdly expensive for like exactly some like pro account or like streamer account, and people would pay it. I would pay it. Yeah. Just to because everybody wins. You get to like personalize your stream more. People get to see the kind of shit that you're into more. Spotify makes more money. Twitch makes more money. It's like everybody wins, but they just don't do it because they choose not to. And we're talking about a company that's owned by literally the richest guy on the fucking planet. So, like, what's the issue? I just don't understand. Something amenable could be thought of, but it's just not happening. And people are being turned off of streaming. Like, I'm getting more bored of streaming, and I used to love it. Same with Scott. It's just like something could happen here to make everyone more happy, and I don't know, it's just not happening.
I have to imagine that most of the issue here is with the RIAA. Like, I have to imagine most of it, because I mean, these are the archaic people who, instead of trying to figure out a way to monetize music when Napster was first, developed, they instead just tried to sue everybody like into the fucking ground. Like, you have Metallica suing fans and shit, and that's obviously not the RIAA, but like all these people, instead of like seeing a problem and going, times are changing, this new medium is out, how can we adjust to this and still be profitable and still make smart decisions? Like, I've always been of the nature that if you allow me to get something that I want, I will pay for it. Like, but a lot of Napster was born from like there not being a good way to do that until streaming services were invented. And I get it. We're basically asking for someone to do all this hard work in the background and figure out a way to get it done. But with this, all the infrastructure is here. Like, you guys just have to strike a fucking deal. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just the tech in me, the nerdy guy who like likes to know how things work. That because I've mentioned like 4 times that like the Twitch soundtrack software works in an interesting way, and it does. The way it works is there's a for all of you who are out there that might be a streamer, there's a plugin for OBS or Streamlabs. You download this Twitch soundtrack. It's basically like a Spotify player, and then you have to do a little bit of configuration to where it like. The way it's set up is that the music comes in through this plugin, and it doesn't record the music to the VOD. So whatever music is there is licensed to be streamed, but not saved and replayed as like a video clip. So it's so if I go listen back to those VODs, they're silent. Well, besides me talking, like everything else but the music is recorded. And that's fine too. Like that would be fine. I wouldn't care about that.
Because it's like a one-off, like just while you're live. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the rights for those songs in that library are just to be streamed live and not to be replayed or something. Like I get there's something weird with like music being in clips that the RIAA really doesn't like for some reason. I really don't fucking get it because one, no one's going into a fucking stream. Like you're going on the stream to watch someone play a game. You're not going in there to be like, oh, I'm going to go pirate this music. Like what the fuck is, where's the mindset coming from that you think people are going to Twitch to like steal fucking
Can't wait
music?
to rip
like,
this song and hear this asshole talk through the entire thing.
It's like, yeah, I'm totally going to plug my phone into my car and let a video play on my fucking cell phone's bandwidth so I can listen to the music in the background. Like that's so fucking insane of a thought process. I can't even fathom. I don't have anything else to say about it. It's fucking dumb. But we have another piece of annoying news to talk about too.
Oh yeah,
Scott?
yeah. Well, I mean, it just kind of it's a double dose of Twitch being absolutely fucking ridiculous. They launched a new bot that is. Let me see if I can get the name here.
Just take a guess because it's really easy.
Is it Please Vote Bot or Vote Bot?
It's called Vote Bot.
That's right.
Yeah. They launched a bot to encourage people to vote 2 fucking days before the election. This thing launched, I think, like yesterday.
It launched yesterday, November 1st.
Yeah, like it's no surprise that a company that's owned by the richest guy in the fucking world doesn't want well-informed voters out there. Like he'd rather have you be at home watching Hentai Tentacles or whatever the fuck your favorite streamer streams. It's I don't know, man. It seems like if you were gonna do it this late in the game, why even fucking bother? It's a slap in the face to anybody who would have maybe liked to help inform people or remind people or get people encouraged to go out and vote and make a difference. Because like right now, like I know we're not political, but there's a very big divide in this country, and the only thing you can do about it, unless you're willing to start throwing Molotov cocktails, is to vote and let your voice be heard. I'm also one of the mindset that Molotov cocktails are a great idea as a close second, but not pulling any punches, man. Burn it down, and piss on the fire.
All I have to say about that is nothing has like inspired me to just begin like violent revolution, like the line "Don't lurk on democracy." Holy shit.
Yeah.
What fucking intern came up with that? He's got to go. Don't learn, the word that we use on this site. Oh, it's so bad.
Oh, you mean a thing that doesn't count unless someone's active in your chat every 30 fucking seconds?
I would say the only thing that could potentially, and you guys can vote on this. See what I did there. The only thing that could be worse than don't lurk on democracy is vote, Pog.
You lost me. I'm sorry.
Vote, Pog. Pog champ. Nothing. All right. Fucking.
I'm sorry. I don't want to leave you hanging like this.
I really have no idea what that is. I'm so sorry.
It's not malicious. I just don't know.
I'm using language that the kids use. All right. Fine. No. It's fucking real dumb. And would you guys?
Did you mean like Pog, like fat ass white girl? Is that what you mean? Because I've definitely watched those videos. PAWG, no. Bro. Yeah.
People use Pog as just like slang on Twitch, and it's fucking dumb, but I happen to know what it is.
When I think Pog, I think big white butt. I think like the OJ Simpson slammer I found at a fucking flea market.
Yeah, that's what I think of Pog. Yeah.
I was gonna say I think of slammers. I think it was badass. Something like Ninja Stars. This one's like a saw blade.
I had one when I was like 6 years old. It was like translucent, not translucent. What's the word? Like hieroglyphic. And what's the word? It's not hieroglyphic either.
Holographic?
I don't know.
Holographic. Thank you.
There you go.
And it was a skull, and like that high that I had holding that, I will never achieve ever again. Yeah. And I'm trying every day, but I can't get there.
Yeah, that was
holographic Pog.
Hieroglyphic.
But yeah,
hieroglyphic plague.
To wrap up all the nonsense that I could say about this is the problem is that it's very clear that since Twitch was purchased by Amazon, it's not a priority. They're not making money on it. It's not their money maker is clearly their Prime services, of which Twitch is like a very minor offshoot. If they care about it so little, they're like, yeah, free sub every month, buddy. Go ahead. We'll give you half. Right. We'll give you half of what you pay every month as like a little bargaining chip for somebody who will give a third of that too. They don't give a shit, man. They just don't. Yeah. Like Mixer has been gone for 4 or 5 months now. There's still no co-streaming. There's no stream teams available for unpartnered streamers on Twitch. It's not a priority. They have the money and they have the resources to do things to improve the platform. and they're just consistently making it
They're
worse.
just not doing it.
Yeah, there's taken away the very few tools you have as an unpartnered streamer to have those moments where you feel like everyone's in on a private joke, you're having a good time, we all got to laugh that even you didn't know was coming, and you take that away. The more you take away the ability to play music, integrate soundboards, people don't have to pay real world money to use them. It's just it's bad, man. It needs to go. Something else needs to take its place. It is the MySpace of streaming now, and we need to figure out. Holy shit! We need to figure out what the Facebook of streaming is going to be in the next 5 years, because streaming's not going anywhere. But it's just it needs to evolve, man. Instead of taking things away, they need to give us more tools to use to make it more interactive and more engaging.
This is our most bitter segment ever, I think, on the show, and I love it. This is like, God, this is what I live for.
If you guys will permit me, just for a couple seconds before we get into the next couple bits of news here, please, sincerely, again, we're not. If you've paid attention, you could probably figure out which direction we all lean politically, but we're not. We try to actively avoid doing that kind of stuff, and I'm not going to do it now. I will just say, please go and vote. And I know everyone's telling you to fucking do it. Yeah. It is your civic duty as an American. Is the best way you can make your voice heard. Is the best way to exercise your freedoms as a person in this country. Please go vote. It's very important. I don't care who you vote for. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to tell you who to vote for.
Yeah, I am. And you should vote for just one of us. Any of us, really.
Yeah, just put us in on the ballot. Fill it in.
All three of us, really. Just
actually, you know, I would just like to say maybe do a fill in for Andrew Garfield, since nobody wanted to fucking vote for him in the actual poll. maybe you can get a redemption round, you know, and vote for the best Spider-Man. Just saying, callback.
This might be a feeling that only I have, and someone might get mad at me for it. Also, don't go vote third party.
You just said you were going to tell who to vote for.
Yeah, you're doing it right now.
That lasted 30 seconds.
Whatever. It's not really. It's not political because I'm not telling anyone my view on something. Well,
no,
yes, I am,
it's 100% political.
Yeah, you're right. At this point in the fucking game, it's a wasted vote. I
can't say that either. You should fucking.
Just listen.
You've broken the only rule we have besides no comment.
Vote for Mickey Mouse. We'll still love you. We're happy to have you.
Yeah. You've broken the only rule we have besides no cum in the title of the episode. So this episode's just called cum.
Yeah, it's got to be called cum now.
I decree it's cum.
We broke one. It's got to break the other one. Yeah.
Can it be
it's like the seven seals of God?
Cum? That way, it's not just the word cum. Like episode 6, I decree
the title is just the word cum.
It's cum.
Okay, episode 6, just the word cum. I got you. Okay.
No, that can't be it. That's not good.
I can't be cum.
Yeah.
God damn it.
No. But again, also, again, I cannot lightly jest about this strongly enough. A Molotov cocktail, close second, guys.
Yeah.
You can make napalm with styrofoam and motor oil. I'm just saying.
Oh, and look at this segue, boys. Speaking of political news, Jon Stewart has a new show coming to. So the first half of this statement is really good. So Jon Stewart is going to have a new show talking about the events that are going on. The second half of this statement is the bad part, which is that it's coming to the Apple streaming service. So, poo-poo?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's like, I guess I gotta have Apple TV now. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I'm not gonna watch that. I'm just gonna like legitimately double down on the fact that we should all pick specific things to pay for every month and just share a fucking. Like, it's. God damn it.
So yeah, I mean,
I'm absolutely not signing up for the Apple. What's it called? Apple TV? No, it's not Apple TV. Apple Plus or some shit. I fucking know.
I can't even keep track.
Oh wait,
I don't even know.
I must have slipped into a coma for a second. Is this a new streaming service?
It's literally called Apple TV Plus. So I was right and wrong at the same time.
We were both kind of right.
It's been out. It's been out for a while. Derek, this service has been out for a little while. I think it launched before Disney Plus did, and the reason it's had almost zero programming that has been must-watch stuff. So I don't know.
That's probably why I haven't heard of it.
Exactly.
It's got that one show.
At least to me, this is the first piece of content coming to this service that I feel like I have to watch. I love Jon Stewart and like everything he's ever done. Like movies, of course, The Daily Show was like, by the time that show got off air, it was so fucking dialed in and on the money every fucking night. It was hilarious. It was also poignant and heartfelt. Stewart has got this incredible knack to like speak to you in like he'll start off with a joke and you're laughing, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, I should care about these things. I just besides knowing that he's got a new series coming and that's going to talk about current events, we don't really know much else, but it's going to be an hour-long show tackling a single topic each week. It almost sounds like he was like, hey, John Oliver left and did this, but he's not doing it good enough, so I'm going to come back and make a show.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Let me just say, like, the fact that he's like releasing them at his own pace, apparently, I think is cool. Like,
yeah,
there's no deadline. It's just whenever he comes up with the material, he just does it. I think that's super cool. That being said, like, I know as like a 30-something dude, I'm supposed to like idolize Jon Stewart. I really don't. Not that I like dislike him. I just never got into it. I understand what you're saying, that he has this ability to like hook you in with a joke, and where you're laughing 1 second, all of a sudden you're just like honed in and listening to his message. And he does say very important things, but I just never really got into The Daily Show. That being said, everything that's come after him, like the last week tonight with John Oliver, is just unbearable. I can't stand. I don't know what it is. There's some quality to that show that just fucking gives me this like actual like physical, biological, like measurable anger. Like I don't know if it's John Oliver himself or the format. I'm just like, shut the fuck up, John. Like I don't know what. It's not what he's saying. He's saying important things.
Just to interject, I love Last Week Tonight.
Yeah, same. You're like breaking my heart right now. I never would have imagined.
I was watching it right before we came up to do the podcast. I'm so sad that you feel this way.
Yeah, dude.
And when I see John Oliver and other stuff, I'm like, shut up. I think it's just him. I think it's like he has this ratty face. His face sucks. His face is awful. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe I should stop. I feel like I'm devolving here. Anyway, I'm happy Jon Stewart's back in the game, all right? Good for you, John. Overtake the other John. I can't stand him.
Oh, my God.
That's it. How do you feel about it, Scott?
I mean, I remember back when Jon Stewart was about to start hosting The Daily Show, and before that it was like Craig Kilborn, who was like one of the most unbearable, unlikable people I'd ever seen on TV.
Yeah, what's that about? He's the guy that I can't fucking stand.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah, he always just plays a dick in everything he's actually cast in, which I think was literally just Wedding Crashers or no, Old School. Remember, he's like fucking the nanny in the bathroom. Like, hey man, Gaiku. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like he's cast those roles because that's who he actually is, and that's who he was on the Daily Show. And when John Oliver took over, like at first it was like this slapstick thing where he's like out in the field reporting on stuff for like the adverts for it, and something catches on fire and he screams fuck and they bleep it. It was like this lowbrow kind of a continuation of what Craig Kilborn had done at first. And over the years, you watched him kind of evolve and take on this what felt like a moral obligation to be the voice of a generation in a lot of ways. And I know you probably will scoff at that in some aspects, Derek, as somebody who maybe like wasn't it like
didn't have anything to say. Right. I was lisening.
I felt douchey saying that, so I was like,
defensive, Scott.
I was like, he's gonna say something. He deserves to say something. But he really like I felt like he spoke to me and spoke to a lot of things that like I was also infuriated about. Like at a time period where I was too young to affect political change to even vote. There was a guy out there calling out all these old dusty dinosaurs who gave no fucks about the future of our country. And I feel like in the time since he's left, like you watched him over the period of that show, like from when he took over to when he left, become this person who was deeply involved in politics, knew his shit. Every person who came on, he had clearly read more than the fucking synopsis of the book and was able to engage, not just like be there, but engage in a conversation with them and ask them hard-hitting questions. And like, and through his interviews, you got a better understanding of what the topic was, whether you were versed in it or even familiar with it at all. And like to see the world the way it is now, it's hard to believe that if he had still been on television doing things the way he did them, that people would have kind of fallen off and been apathetic about voting. Even I feel like him being on television could have probably altered the course of the last election. Like not to like overplay it. I'm not saying Daddy Stewart is the king of politics or anything like that, but a voice.
I enjoyed very much watching him go on like Fox shows.
Yeah.
Like the interviews he's done with Fox show, and again, it's such a stark contrast to today, where like that's like unheard of for like there's one side and the other, and they don't commingle. And my political views aside, like it's important. Like the whole point is to compromise. Like you make decisions based on everybody's needs and wants, and you make a plan that works for everybody. And he used to do that. He would go on and talk to Bill O'Reilly, who's a piece of shit scumbag. But at the time, we didn't know all the really bad shit he did. We just knew he was kind of an asshole.
We just knew it deep down, far in.
Yeah, just deep down, you knew he was a bag of shit. But we didn't have proof yet. How's that? The evidence hadn't come out. So he would go on that, and he would go on like Tucker Carlson, and he would speak so... You know what? It was almost like looking up to somebody, because he spoke so eloquently, and he got to his points in such a very articulate way, but also a funny way, but also a very well-informed way, that it was like it was awesome watching him work. It was like I could see the fucking gears turning in his head as he was talking, and it was just it was really, really good. I still watch. Sometimes I'll just fall into a fucking YouTube rabbit hole of like old Jon Stewart interviews, and it's glorious.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely worked in a lot of ways to try to like bridge that gap. You know what I mean? It's like I mean, you have like a lot of people who are like I guess satirical. Like I don't know. Like I don't know if you consider Bill Maher, but I would consider Bill Maher an uppity cunt. You know what I mean? I may agree with some of the things that Bill Maher says, but the way he says them makes me want to disagree with him every single time. And Jon Stewart found a way to make you think about things and not tell you what you should think, but to make you he would present things in a way that did feel very bipartisan. He would mock the hypocrisy of politics on both sides of the fence. I felt it definitely was very heavy left leaning as far as policy and things like that. But he did try to extend the olive branch. You know what I mean? Even if he was met with a blowtorch on Fox News every fucking time, he still went back out there. He would go on interviews where knew he was going to get beat up, and he would take a beating and stand his fucking ground. And in a lot of ways, I think almost always come out the victor. I think there's definitely a place for him on TV again. I think there's kind of been a void since he left. Yeah,
I agree. I don't think anyone who came out of his show has successfully filled that void. Stephen Colbert is great, but he just does regular late night now. He's not even that satirical character now. I think would be like too much. You'd be like, all right, buddy, there's enough ridiculous characters on TV. I can't.
That's one that actually I couldn't stand. Not that Stephen Colbert is clearly just powerhouse of intelligence. He's a very articulate dude, very well-read guy, well-versed guy. It was just annoying. It felt like it was a gimmick on The Daily Show that they just stretched out into. I mean, how long was he on the air? I don't know. I never got into. I couldn't get into Colbert. Even Jon Stewart, one thing that I did want to add when you were talking around Scott, I didn't want to interrupt, is that you're right. It's very noticeable that whenever he would have a guest on that, wrote a book or something, it was so clear that he, didn't have prompts that his producer was like, make sure you ask this and that. He read the book. He read the fucking book in and out and understood it and is now digesting it with the author. Which is, I think that's admirable. I think that's a good dude thing, I guess.
He also, and this is the last point I'll make because we're kind of belaboring the point of saying yes, please, let's watch his new show. But
where's lining up to blow him? I was gonna say sloppy BJs all around. 8 mouths on the side and only 1 dick.
He's definitely got a gray bush too, and I'm okay with it.
Episode 6, Jon Stewart glory hole.
Ooh, I don't know.
That's a good
one. Reverse glory hole, maybe. I don't know.
Reverse glory hole. The last thing I will say is that he also had a habit of not letting people get away with it. So obviously he, and by that I mean he very often had a lot of politicians on his show. And if you go back and hear any of those interviews, he would ask a very specific question, like, how is your tax plan going to affect, I don't know, single mothers or something? And they would pivot and say some other shit, and he'd be like, no, so okay, that's fine, but what I asked you was, blah, blah, blah. And he was very good at I would imagine there were a lot of politicians back then that were like, yeah, I don't want to go talk to him because I can't answer what he's going to tell me. I can't answer his questions. All right, sloppy BJs, 5 out of 5 sloppy BJs for Jon Stewart.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 hungry mouths awaiting that gray bush.
Oh no,
that might be too far. They're metaphorical mouths. The gray bush is probably real.
Oh, can we? Oh, hungry mouths for Jon Stewart. There has to be some way to work that into a fucking title.
Hungry mouths for Jon Stewart. That sounds like a charity.
2020. Hungry mouths for Jon Stewart. 2020.
For Jon Stewart. 2020.
No.
No?
Oh, it's so good.
I just struck
I want
there.
a bumper sticker. This is Hungry Mouths for Jon Stewart 2020. First piece of merch.
I
maybe.
will order you one. Just one.
We have one more thing, and this is probably, we're going to try to keep this quick because we have to get to our Mando stuff, is they're making a Saved by the Bell reboot, and I know it feels like out of left field, but fuck it. The trailer was weird, and I wanted to talk about it. So it's premiering Wednesday, November 25th on Peacock, which I guess is NBC's fucking streaming service. Yes, it is NBC streaming service. And they're doing a relaunch. It's not a reboot because like Slater's in it and some of the parents. And did you guys watch this trailer?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm embarrassed because this is the second time this happened on the show. I missed that somehow. I did not watch. So tell us about it, Chris. Tell us about the trailer.
Well, did you watch it too, Scott?
Yeah, I watched.
That's not the same thing. You see how that's not the same thing, right?
No,
I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna say 30 seconds, and then you can say 30 seconds, and then we'll move on because that's all this even deserves. At the most, it deserves that. The only reason I put it in this doc is because the concept sounded bad. I thought the trailer was gonna be like the worst thing I've ever fucking seen, and surprisingly, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It was just like the second worst thing I've ever seen. So it was still bad, and I'm still not gonna give a single shit about it. But there were a couple quick witted jokes in this trailer that I didn't hate. I don't know. I feel very conflicted because I feel like I'm gonna hate this, but the trailer did not make my insides burn with rage like I anticipated they would. But I assume you hated it, Scott. So take it away.
Sounds like he's hating it currently. Yeah. Hating it live with Scott last name.
Man. Like what was that?
Yeah.
What was the morning show that Mario Lopez did for a while? Didn't he do like something with like fucking Al Roker or some shit?
Oh, he did. Shit, I don't fucking.
Let me be Jamie. I'll be Jamie.
I'll be honest. I literally was on IMDb looking up what he's done recently. I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what he spent all that like network TV money on. Like how much cocaine did Mario Lopez do that he needs to do a Saved by the Bell reboot?
Wait, is he in it?
For Peacock. Yeah, him.
Oh yeah.
Him and the dude who played Zach. And the only thing I'll say is I would pay to see a live action version of Zach Morris's trash set in the modern day. I don't want to see a live action Saved by the Bell. Like I don't want to see a reboot. I don't care. I didn't care about Saved by the Bell then. I would watch a reality show about Screech in prison. Give me that.
Oh, I had some.
Call it Shankin Screech. Are you fucking kidding me? Like you hire one, like it's a reality show, but you hire like one guy who's like a legitimate criminal in there who has to like get Screech alone and kill him at some point, Among Us style, and Screech has to try to figure out who it is, and like at the end of every episode, he gets to pick somebody and vote him out, and if they're not the person, he goes back in with like the other 19 inmates, and it's like, oh fuck. Oh, fuck, which one is it?
I love this idea.
Yeah.
Shankin Screech also, coincidentally, is like one of the mobs that gives you a quest in Brill at like level 6 of World of Warcraft, so I don't fucking... He's like the guy outside the graveyard. He's like, oh, it's Shankin Screech.
I've got a lot of heavy pitches today, like Netflix, come at me for the AC stuff.
Yeah, you've got those like early 90s cocaine-fueled pitches that like really work. In the moment, if you're on cocaine as well.
I have to apologize. Well, luckily for me, every executive running the shows at Peacock right now probably does nothing but cocaine.
Yeah, they named their network Peacock.
True. Yeah, that's one of those. Like, I just did a line and I'm gonna scream it, and everyone's just gonna be like, "All right, yeah," because they're just waiting for their turn to do a line. They don't care. They don't fucking care. This show makes it sound like I do a lot of cocaine. I don't do cocaine, guys. I have family that listens to this. I don't do cocaine, guys. This is just that ADHD.
Scott's very animated and he's very passionate. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm convinced that my last.
And we're worried about him, honestly, but we're not there yet.
At my last bar job I had, one of my managers, 100%. I went all Mike Tyson. On you guys. 100%.
Now, Kith.
100% thought that I had been doing cocaine. He definitely thought I was coked up all the time, but I legitimately am just. This as a
You're
person.
Like, no, I'm just insane. This is just who I am as a person, deep down and far in.
It's really hard being me, guys. It's hard to look in the mirror.
Jesus,
I'm kidding. I mean, I've been staring at my own image on the webcam for hours, and I'm not flinching, so I think I'm getting better. God, I don't know, man. It's just like again, Shankin Screech, just get at me. Like it's the only Saved by the Bell follow up we need. Really, I want to see how Dustin Diamond's doing. What he's boofing in prison. Like I got questions.
Do they actually die? Like when they get like voted off, do they actually?
No. They just leave. No one who's there to like be an. The thing is like there's only one actual murderer in there. All the rest of them are actors looking for their big break. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
So like they're all in there like trying to like like they want their big moment because like when you get voted off, you get this dramatic monologue you're allowed to give to the camera for your roll tape to like pitch to producers. But then also like there's like a fake stage death like where you like get electrocuted by the chair or you get lethal injected and they get this like crazy monologue that they get to like they get to choose like they get to work with Aaron Skortzen or whatever the fuck his name is. What's his name? Aaron Sorkin. Aaron Sorkin. Like or like somebody else that they idolize and they get this beautiful moment for their fucking their whatever the fuck.
So they're acting tough the whole time, but then when it's their moment, they do this like effeminate Shakespearean like
yeah.
Trying to like sell.
They get to
total
choose it.
Contrast.
They can go total Sling Blade, which I wouldn't recommend right now in the PC culture.
Oh no.
They can go full Sling Blade. They can go like Jerry Maguire monologue. They can do anything they want. Like they just have to like.
They could go Green Mile.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Which one though? Because like some of those aren't good either.
Oh, fair.
Some of those are a little mice and men, and I think it's too. But yeah, that's my pitch. That's my elevator pitch.
10 out of 10.
Yeah,
would watch.
It's very good.
Also, another contender for potential because I love alliteration. So
yeah.
Shankin Screech, episode 6 title, maybe. There's
that's,
another contender.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Episode 6, Shankin Screech. Okay, so we have our main topic for the day, night.
And I do have to be a negative Nancy here and say I only have time for one. I can't do that at this point. We've gone.
Oh no,
long.
we're only doing Mando.
Okay,
we're running very long right now.
Yeah.
And normally I wouldn't care, but I still have to mix this tonight. So we're going to talk about Mandalorian in 2 seconds. I will just say really quickly a couple things. One, if you have any questions, comments, or corrections, hashtag AskTCN on Twitter. Hit us up. Say what's up. Say hello. If we're really wrong about something, which is probably true every episode, hashtag FuckTCN and let us know. And we can talk about it. You can also email us at questions@thecynicalnerd.com. We're everywhere. We're everywhere. We're on Twitter. We're on fucking Facebook, and that's it. So by everywhere, I was a fucking liar.
Ask T as in pterodactyl, C as in scent, N as in pneumonia.
Right, pterodactyl, scent, pneumonia.
I thought pneumonia started with P.
It does, but we're gonna gloss past it.
That was
right. That's actually a correction you can send in.
Scent also starts with S.
I would also like to say, if you are a furry or a weeb that's been offended by anything I've said today, please email me your address and phone number so I can hunt you down, like your name's Sarah, like your name's Sarah Connor in a Terminator movie. I'm looking for purpose, and in the inevitable civil war that's to follow this week, the dumb apocalypse, if you will, the darkest timeline, the dumbest timeline. I like fetch quest, man. I want to come collect some skulls. Let's do it.
Just start up another game of Death Stranding, then.
Oh, God.
Got him.
Oh, all right.
Nailed it.
We're gonna talk about the Mandalorian, and we're not gonna stand on ceremony here. Scott, I want you to go first.
Oh no.
So I'll set the stage for you. Episode 1, season 2 of the Mandalorian, called The Marshal, which introduced a couple things to us. Timothy Olyphant as Cobb Vanth, who
Cobb
is
Vanth.
the Cobb Vanth, not Kith. He's wearing corroded Boba Fett armor that he got from Jawas. He's running a small town on Tatooine, off the fucking grid. They have a very specific problem to deal with, and we get a lot of things in this episode. And I won't do anything else. I'll let you.
You sure you want me to go first?
Thoughts. Absolutely.
All right.
I really do. Heavy spoilers.
Heavy spoilers. But really though, did anything happen? Really?
Yeah.
Did anything happen at all in the entire fucking episode? I'm sorry. There's a lot of things here to like. I'll start with the things.
I love this. I love this. Oh my god.
I'll start with the things I liked about it. Timothy Olyphant, we talked about this literally last week, is always a joy. I understand why they were in a rush to show his beautiful face, because he is just a chiseled Adonis of a man.
I let him spit in my mouth. Yeah, he's excellent.
Yeah,
he's
beautiful
man.
Like Timothy Olyphant isn't on my top 5, like my friend's top 5 scenario. You know what I mean? But Timothy Olyphant hit on me. I might tumble for him, guys. I'm not saying I'd bottom, but I might top. I don't know.
Hungry mouths for Timothy Olyphant.
We got plenty of hungry mouths for plenty of hot draying actors on the Cynical Nerd.
Yeah. Like Timothy Olyphant is incredible. I again like just seeing Baby Yoda on screen was a joy.
Yodes.
He was not in the episode a lot, but like the second I saw him, I was just like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like it's like
yeah, dude.
Every time they show him, it's like I'm seeing a picture of a different puppy I've never seen before. Like how does that affect me every fucking time?
I don't understand how. Every single time I see him, I'm sorry to interject so early. Like they put him on the speeder bike, and I'm like, oh my god, look how cute he is on the speeder bike. Like every situation, it's better than the last.
Like he's so cute. You just want to like you would want to like even though you know it's a doll. If you saw that thing on set, you would hold it like it was a real baby. You'd be like nervous to pick it up. Like you gently would like. It's so fucking cute.
Yeah, don't want to break its ribs, so you real soft grab it and just lift it up.
It's weird because there's a grown man's hands in it, but you're still like just trying to breastfeed it. It's so cute.
There's a grown man using Yoda's bottom like a glory hole. So.
Oh man, yeah. Just,
all right.
Yeah. I thought the crate dragon pearl was a cool touch because in canon they can be used to build lightsabers. It is rumored that they are kyber crystals that are polished in the same way that pearls are created in an oyster. I thought that was a really cool little subtle nod there. John Leguizamo, although his voice wasn't quite as recognizable as I would have preferred as the alien in the beginning that's at the fight, who tries to betray Mando. I thought that was really cool, interesting, kind of have John Leguizamo in there.
Totally did not know.
I
thought it was John Favreau. I thought it was the director.
I thought it was John Favreau.
No, it says John Leguizamo on the
really?
Yeah, the credits. Yeah, that's why I was like, fuck. Because like
I believe you, but while you continue talking, I'm verifying what you.
Oh yeah, dude, if I'm wrong, I don't know. I guess I'm first. What's up?
Continue.
All right.
Continue, sir.
I was gonna make another.
Oh, he's fucking right.
Yeah.
Gore Koresh.
All right. If I'm right, I was gonna say I'm the first up at the glory hole, but
yeah, you got a little sweaty there.
Not me. that thing's drained by the time I get to it.
Gore, our buddy Gore.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. Having said that, this just felt like a direct-to-DVD Netflix Tremor sequel to me. I didn't give a shit at all. Like you're gonna put Timothy Olyphant in that armor and have him wear it for 5 fucking seconds of the entire episode. Like I get it, I get it, but also I don't get why the fuck Mando gives a shit. If they wanted to have the whole point of this episode was for them to build that bond because clearly Cobb Vanth is going to become a recurring character. Because if you have Timothy Olyphant on the payroll, why the fuck aren't you going to milk that cow? I get it. Why the fuck aren't you going to milk Timothy Olyphant? Am I right?
Yeah.
But
are you sure you're not first in line at the glory hole?
Okay.
I'd milk that cow if by cow you meant Timothy Olyphant's dog. And by milk you meant suck his dick.
Okay. This is
Our position on Timothy Olyphant is unanimous, by the way. Listeners, we would all suck his dick, gladly.
Gladly. I'm sorry to derail you.
No, it's okay. It like I don't care about the crate dragon. I don't particularly care about this little piece. Like I understand why they did it. It's an exciting action set piece. It's always cool to have the big creature moment in a Star Wars movie. But those are usually passing moments. It's usually like we're passing through the planet core, and there's like fucking 8 giant fucking things, or oh, we're in an asteroid, but this asteroid's also a giant sock puppet, like or an oven mitt with teeth. Like there's those moments are always cool in passing. It's like, oh, cool, that was an interesting little bit they did there. When you drag it out over an entire episode, the entire time I'm thinking, when the fuck is this going to end? Because if they wanted to build that relationship, that bond between Cobb Vanth and Mando, which is clearly all the episode is really about. There's hundreds of other ways they could have done it that could have pushed forward the overall narrative in a way that would have been more interesting instead of it being another one-off where it feels like we're dragging our feet and it's kind of like filler. That they could have accomplished the same thing in an episode that didn't feel like it so much was just a self-contained story, and now that it's over, why do we care? Like, why do we care about this town aside from the fact that Timothy Olyphant lives there? Like, why do we care that Mando wants his armor back? I don't give a shit about any of that. I care about Cobb Vanth as a character, but also like the way that the episode was pieced together really was frustrating me because you open up with Mando with this kind of a cool. I get why they did it that way because we haven't seen him in months. But the choreography in that first fight felt really hacky and amateurish to me compared to like when we talk about the scene from The Witcher and even combat sequences from the first season of Mando. I thought were way better shot and just the choreography was way more believable. God, I lost it for a second there. Yeah, but then also having us once we've already met Cobb Vanth and seen him outside of the helmet. We get the flashback of him like finding the armor, his entire backstory, and at that point, it's like I would have rather watched that from the start and saw him as Timothy Olyphant, and then have him in that armor for the rest of the episode until maybe like a moment. You know what I mean? Like have him like maybe the narrative is that people actually think he is a Mandalorian. They're not all aware that he's just a guy cosplaying as one. Maybe they all think he's Boba Fett, and that's why they listen to him. He's not just cosplaying as a Mandalorian. That to me was a missed opportunity, a misfire on every possible level. And that said, it's still a great show. Look forward to next week.
Yeah. Are you?
I mean, there's no way next week could drop the ball as hard as this one did. And
come on,
throwing in Boba Fett as the last shot of the episode. They were like, we gotta give him something. We gave him nothing all fucking episode.
Okay.
Hang on, Chris. You definitely have the most to say. Let me just get my tiny little load out. Let me just get my dollop out.
Right before you start. Never mind. You go ahead. I'll save it.
All right, it's very simple. It's very short. It was not great, but it was good. It was felt like something kind of unimportant was happening that they stretched out. I agree with that. But they had that in season 1 too. The episode where he's like saving the town from the AT-AT. Like, I mean, yeah. It's not like this new concept. The fact that they stretched this episode out to be like a little longer than most was a little like, all right, that didn't seem necessary. And I did get bored in the middle. I actually watched it as soon as I got home from work, and somewhere in the very middle of it, I actually started to nod out, so I had to like sit up to watch it. But I thought the ending was great. I thought them flying around in the jetpacks and fighting the fucking dragon was like, I had that like childlike wonder, like, oh my God. It was like, you know, you have these dreams where you like fucking slinging around as Spider-Man, and it's like this like wondrous, awesome experience. That's what it felt like.
You wake up and there's cum everywhere?
Exactly. Yeah. No, you actually wake up and you don't come because you're like, oh, I'm in real life where I'm just a fat guy that has to go work a job all the time. This is a nightmare. But I actually thought the direction they went with Timmy Olyphant was great because he literally looked like a guy cosplaying, which is essentially what he was. I thought it worked. The armor didn't even fit him. That's it. I'm just saying it wasn't great, but it was definitely good. It's a good opener to the season. And I'm pumped for the rest of it. It definitely it fluffed me. It got me hard, and I'm ready to come.
Well, okay, so we're basically Goldilocks and the Three Bears here because you didn't like it. You thought it was good, but it's more complicated than that because I had some problems with it too. So I'm only like slightly more stoked on it than Derek is, but still, we're basically the Goldilocks and the Three Bears here. I some of the points you made, I can't fathom how you made them.
And you heard me use my mouth to say them,
and I love you, but it felt like your cynical meter was turned up just to be shitty about it. Like
this is great. Oh my God, you guys are turning on each other. Fuck yes, for the first time. Yes,
I knew Derek was gonna be happy about this.
Yeah.
So you bitched about like the fucking Boba Fett armor the whole time as like it was just something they were giving us to like, oh, look at this thing, and then the Boba Fett reveal at the end was like they're just gonna throw it in there. The Mando armor. They did that to introduce that they're about to bring Boba Fett back. Like they're like, oh, we're going to bring him back. So let's show you, let's show you how he escaped the Sarlacc pit because here's his armor and it's corroded. And look at this guy. Yeah, I 100% agree. He's cosplaying as Boba Fett. It's supposed to be apparent because he walks in and he's this big, tall, scrawny guy. It looks like the armor doesn't fit him. It's because it doesn't. We're all supposed to go, oh shit, that's not Boba Fett. And then, you know, they don't really toy with you very long. He goes, oh look, I'm Timothy Olyphant. Would you like to suck my big hog?
That was his like, oh my God, that line of dialogue
opening line.
Yeah, it was so
breathtaking. Yeah. And then I like none of us disagreed about this. I thought Cobb Vanth's character was written fantastically because he could have been written so one-dimensionally and been like the standoff dickhead about the armor, but he was like, you know, it was just the whole scene was just cool. He's like, look, I get it. You're probably not happy to see me in the armor. You know, one of us is gonna die. And then, you know, luckily that didn't fucking happen because he was just a joy. Their whole team up to take down the Crate Dragon. The Crate Dragon was not only was the Pearl a nice nod, but the actual entire way they killed the Crate Dragon was a callback to I think Knights of the Old Republic, or KOTOR, not Knights of the Old Republic. You kill a Crate Dragon the same way in the fucking video game with explosives under the belly, and I totally fucking forgot about it until I was looking up like Easter eggs in the fucking episode to see if I'd missed anything significant, and I saw it. I agree with you on pacing. I think that's the only point that you made that I agree with because I like Derek thought it got a little sluggish towards the middle, and I if they had cold opened with this guy finding this armor with the Jawa. Like you don't know who he is. They don't give you his name, but it's the whole backstory he talked about where like he's in the desert, the Jawas find him, you're like, what the fuck's going on? He finds the armor, takes it back. All of a sudden, here comes Mando. I get why they wanted to immediately go, hey, look, here's Mando and Baby Yodes. Here's what they're doing. They're in this town. You know, let's open with a cool note. I disagree 100% with the fight scene. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was so well shot. I forgot to say
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how. You actually used the word amateur, and I can't comprehend where that came from. I was upset with you for that.
The set in that scene to me looks cheap and fake. Like that entire thing in the beginning. Like at first I was kind of like, oh, there's graffiti on the walls. That's kind of like interesting world building. But then I'm like, they have spray paint in a galaxy far, far. Like what? Like why?
But I'll admit that like the fuck, I can't think of what they're called. Like in the ring, their axes, that weird effect.
Yeah, I hated that so much. The
kind of sucked, but it didn't ruin it for me. But that was a little like, all right, you could just have two dudes with the battle axes swinging.
Yeah,
that would have been fine without the effect. Yeah, I'll give you that.
That was very Sci-Fi Channel original movie. Like I know we used that before.
Yeah,
but it 100% was. It's like we got to make sure that they know how hard they're hitting these. It's like Dragon Ball Z. Like. They're lazy. They're lazy about it, but they try to make it seem like it's bad. It's like they move so fast that it looks like they're just squiggly line. Like,
yeah.
What Scott's really saying is fuck weebs.
I mean, I cannot double.
You're not welcome here.
Yeah, I cannot double down on fuck weebs.
Not welcome here.
Let's be honest though. They had to make sure they got their daily dose of Persona 5, and I gotta stop. I'm just gonna keep
Jesus Christ, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will agree about the sci-fi thing. I don't remember if it was. I think it was shown in season 1. Like Mando's little knife is a vibroblade. Like shit like that is the that show is the reason I fucking watch Star Wars. Like we've talked about this before. Like it's one of the reasons Rogue One is one of my favorite Star Wars films. This universe has so much to offer us from a storytelling perspective that doesn't have to do with Destiny and Jedi and shit like that. And this show, yeah, I agree. It felt like one of the filler episodes from episode 1, but it also just felt like we're on an adventure. Like I thought, I
was okay with that as an opener. I didn't see.
Yeah,
an issue
because
with
it's like, look, we're you can't expect it to be as epic or ridiculous as the finale. Like it's like we're back. Where are they at now? They set it up for us. He's back on a quest to find Baby Yoda species. They're trying to figure out how to get there. So he's tracking down a Mandalorian. And look, Boba Fett.
I can fix it in 5 minutes.
Well, before you do, let me finish. Also, so they show the armor. Then we go through the whole Crate Dragon thing, which was a little over the top, but it was a fun welcome back set piece. Look, we have more fucking money. Look, CGI. And then
it did look really good. It looked really good.
It did look really. I was like, wow, this like the Crate Dragon looks really good.
Really fucking.
And then they end it after the whole episode of going like, okay, so in your head you're like, where's Boba Fett? And then we fucking see him. He's scarred. You can tell he escaped the Sarlacc pit. They even tell us through random dialogue how he did, because the Crate Dragon killed the Sarlacc, and that's how he fucking got out. Because they also showed the Crate spitting acid and it melting Tusken Raiders, but it didn't hurt Mando when he came out of the. So obviously, fucking Boba Fett's armor saved him when the Crate Dragon attacked the fucking Sarlacc and he escaped. And he's got the gaffy stick, I think it's called, the Tusken Raider stick, and then the rifle. Yeah, he's just living out in the fucking dunes.
I thought it was great punctuation. I'm sorry to cut you off. This is very short.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I just thought like, I feel like they were flirting with like the armor the whole time, and to me that was like, oh, they're giving us the armor, so we shut up about Boba Fett, and then we got him. I thought that was win-win. I thought it was the best of both worlds.
Yeah, we talked about rumors of Tamara Morrison being cast. We didn't know he was actually going to be here. It was from good sources, but we didn't know, right? Yeah. And then they do that. I'm glad you said a good punctuation, because the scene, in juxtaposition to every other time the dual suns are setting in Tatooine, where it's hope-filled and a character we know, this is Boba Fett. And maybe it's supposed to be hope-filled because, oh shit, he's alive. And we don't know what his mindset's going to be. Is he going to be a good guy? Is he going to be morally gray? I don't know what he's been through. None of us do. And that's very exciting to now see what used to be Legends now be canon, where he actually did survive the Sarlacc pit. And I don't know. I mean, to me, him showing up at the end of the first episode was them telling us, like, we have a lot of shit to cover. Here's Boba Fett. He's back. He's going to factor into the story. Yeah. Let's fucking go. Like,
that's
hop on the back.
Yeah,
hop on the back of the Bantha. We got fucking trails to make, boys.
That's a great way to wrap up your argument there. The Bantha thing. I gotta give you that. You get like a Devil May Cry triple S for style on that one.
Okay.
But I gotta be honest, man. Like, I get why they showed him at the end to like kind of again because it's what you said. Like, we have a lot going on, but it also seems counterproductive to do that at the end to like let you know how much they have going on and still burn so much time on something that only builds one relationship between these two characters and doesn't push the main narrative forward at all. That was my biggest issue with it. I can fix it in 5 minutes. Not everyone's gonna agree with me. Some people think it's perfect the way it is. To me, cold open. Maybe you don't even show Timothy Olyphant's face right away. If he's gonna be a recurring character, maybe we don't need to see his face until the end of the episode when he finally takes the armor off and revealing it's not Boba Fett. It could literally be a cold open of somebody walking up and seeing a body in the armor in the sand. Something along those lines. Then we do our fucking fucking title, Mando killing John Leguizamo, in what looked like a murder scene from a Critters movie, which I was stoked on that.
That was actually fantastic.
Just the little the beady little eyes.
John Leguizamo. My God.
Yeah. He had like a weird like vocoder on his voice though, where like it only sounded like him in certain ranges, and when it would go low, it'd get like real gritty, like he like was doing Batman voice from Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. To me, like I get why they didn't want to jump right in and go balls deep, but I feel like there could have been a way. There could have been a way where it didn't feel like just a Sci-Fi Channel original movie or a creature feature to me. And I thought like it was cool to have the Krayt Dragon be there, but maybe instead of making this entire episode about the Krayt Dragon, maybe have the Krayt Dragon interrupt their potential bar fight, and then that's a looming threat that we know is in the area that can maybe come back later and affect something in a greater part of the narrative. It just seemed to me like they shot their load. They wanted to show that they had big special effects, but they could do really, really realistic creature effects now with our CGI.
Which they can.
Yeah, and it did look great. There was a lot of things. It was like I was watching somebody play with action figures when I was a kid. The fucking the jetpack up to the top of a mountain, like all that stuff. It was beautiful to look at. But I just feel like there could have been a way for them to build more lore around this town and maybe hint at where the Jedi are, or I don't know. Maybe do something to push forward the narrative of him trying to like find out where Baby Yoda needs to be, and have that Krayt Dragon as a looming threat that again could come back later, circle around, and maybe be the Deus Ex Machina or whatever the fuck you want to call it. That kind of like breaks up a fight or changes the tides of a battle when they're overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's always way more interesting when you have like the sandworm from Beetlejuice. It's
wild card.
Yeah, like you know it's out there. You know it's a threat. You're like, you haven't even seen the full scope of how big this thing is yet, but you're already like, it's coming eventually. That to me would have been.
That's what she said.
Okay, yeah. I feel like that would have been way more interesting in the long run to me. If it would have focused more on like what the social climate is like on Tatooine after the fall of the Empire, because they hinted that about how entire towns were wiped out, how there were like basically essentially cartels and gangs that controlled cities.
Yeah,
I would like to see what Mos Eisley looks like in the aftermath of the downfall of the Empire. That to me would have been a much more interesting narrative had they gone into Mos Eisley together, maybe, or if that's where Cobb Vanth had been. You know what I mean? I think it was a missed opportunity to do a lot more world building of Tatooine post Empire, and also to shoot their wad right out the gate with the Krayt Dragon. That could have been a great thing to have in their back pocket.
I don't disagree with your points. I don't. I still very much enjoyed this episode, and I more so than anything else, I'm just excited to watch more of it. Yeah. Like that's kind of where Mando always gets me. It's like I always get so excited to see like the passion that these people exude when they make this, and I love knowing, like wholeheartedly knowing that people who love Star Wars are making the show. That's fucking great. Yeah, I mean, knowing Ahsoka Tano is in this show somewhere, I am giddy with excitement. I can't wait for that moment to show up. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I've kind of shot my whole load. I don't really have anything else to say about it. But before we wrap up, do you guys have anything else you wanted to spit out?
No, I think you guys kind of nailed it. I mean, I see what you're saying, Scott, but it's also, I mean, it's episode 1, so. Yeah. They could still go to Mos Eisley. These things could still be expanded on. I agree with you though; it wasn't perfect. Like it didn't. I wasn't like. Maybe it was my own expectations, but like I wasn't blown away. But I was definitely happy with it. I was very happy with it. Let's just see what happens.
I'm not gonna try to get into like a pattern of just shitting out the shit on it. To be honest, like because again, there were a lot of things that I really did enjoy about it. Like visually, it was great. The music was awesome.
Music was so good.
Yeah, like the practical effects in this one were great.
Oh yeah,
the CGI looked great. Like, It was cool to see sand people humanized and not just be, because that's one thing the series does really well is they take what you might call marginalized groups in the Star Wars lore and they give them like personality and heart and you relate to them.
That was reflected, by the way, in real life, where a dude who like knew ASL, a dude who hears, was like, "Hey, maybe we should get an actual deaf person to play one of the Tusken Raiders," and that's how they got, like, one of them was actually deaf, and like helped them come up with. I was reading something about it the other day. To come up with the like Tusken sign language thing. So
it was badass. I didn't even mention the music, but yeah, I mean, that new score when they're flying in, I think that's new, right? Like I just said new score, but I know they had the like, I don't know what it's called, the that fucking thing.
The John Wayne but better.
Yeah,
John Wayne without the racism.
Right. And I mean, this whole episode was this whole episode was basically just like old school Western. Like, guy comes into town and helps fix a fucking problem to get something. I don't know. I liked it a lot. I did not think it was perfect. I don't want to be like just sucking the dick at the altar with nothing negative to say. Like, I agree with some of the points you made. I really liked it. My excitement's amped up to fucking 11.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna wrap it up, gentlemen. We've ran quite long tonight.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about that. We've had some. We've had some. I think whereas we tend to riff a lot, which is always funny, I think we made some valid points tonight on things.
Yeah. It was a good
one. Despite all of the weeb bash, and just to reiterate, you're not welcome here.
Yeah, get out right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be clear though.
There's
there's two different tiers of weeb. There's like
there's
like harmless shy girl who like does this in all their photographs and very clearly is non-threatening to anybody. But then there's just the army of incels who like watch what is clearly underage girl hentai and like have like shelves of books that the pages are stuck together. Like,
and we're okay with the first one, but you're walking a fucking line. Be careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you ever thought about buying a waifu pillow, you're probably part of the fucking problem.
Yeah. If you're one of those guys who owns a shirt that's just all prints of the girl with the mouth open, I know you have a blanket.
I was gonna say I have a blanket. I have a blanket with it. My girlfriend got it for my dog. That's a real. All of that is a real story.
If you've ever looked at octopus a little cockeyed and got maybe a half chub, you're part of the problem. I mean, this is.
Yeah.
Look, we want. Let's be real here. We want everybody here. We want you to feel included, except for fucking weirdos that watch hentai. Get the fuck out right now. Turn it off.
You're not.
No, you can watch. You can watch hentai.
Please get out.
Just make sure it's the weird alien demon stuff and not the little girl.
Yeah, and not the kid stuff. If it's not the kid stuff, we'll make fun of you still 100%. But you're welcome.
I'm not gonna begrudge you for getting off the octopus cock. Like whatever does it for you, does it for you. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna begrudge you a single octopi peni. But I will say,
right.
if you're like reading books or consuming any media that's like pedophile or pedo light, like you know what I mean? Like fuck, no, we don't.
Yeah. If you're pretending that your fucking hentai fetish is anything other than watching girls dress up in schoolgirl outfits and have sex with gross old guys, I mean, just,
Yeah, if you've ever Googled...
It's time to have a conversation with yourself and your therapist.
If you've ever Googled Master Roshi Boner, get the fuck out of here.
And with that, we're going to wrap it up.
I rate this one 4 dirty heroin pussies out of 5. I have to say.
Oh no!
I forgot all about that.
Waiting for that.
I forgot all about that. I would rate this one. I can't. You gotta go first.
No, go ahead.
No, you gotta go first. All
right, I'll do mine first. Mine's gonna be quick though, because I'm ready for it. Mm-hmm. I would rate mine's a recent reference. I'm not digging back to the beginning like Derek.
I'm trying to. Right
now. I would rate this 4 out of 5. Timothy Oliphant, big old cocks.
See, I was gonna say 4 out of 5. Hungry mouse at the glory hole.
It works. No, it's still all right. You have the cock and the hole.
Did you say 4? Did you say 4 or 5, Chris?
I did say 4.
Okay, so there's enough dicks and enough mouths. We're good. Yeah. We're good. We got the right ratio.
And enough dirty heroin pussies. We're 4 for 4 for 4.
Yeah.
I mean, we're never out of stock when it comes to dirty.
if you're getting too many teeth at the glory hole, you got that dirty heroin pussy as a backup.
Right. It's definitely not the first grab. Definitely save that for.
It's
and the cynical nerd is Hungry Mouths for Jon Stewart 2020.
Why
do
people listen to us?
Why are you here, you incel weebs? Just kidding. Just kidding.
I feel like we need to
Except
make sure
the ones that applies to.
Yeah, I feel like we need to make it clear there's been no inkling whatsoever that any of those people listen to us. But just in case, we have to scorch the fucking earth.
Case. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just in case, scorched earth.
You're gonna scorch that earth, son. Burn its surface until it is but glass. Very much like they've done with the entire Halo franchise. That is a double reference.
Oh, it fucking
that
is. And also fuck Halo 2.
Yeah.
Also fuck Halo 2. Overrated, hot garbage. Everyone looks at it through nostalgia lenses. It's not good. You suck, and you have terrible taste. Okay, so
can't see my haters. I got cum in my eyes.
Once again, if you want to reach out to us, you can hashtag us, ask TCN on Twitter, ask us a question, send us an email at questions@thesnakeonerd.com. This is episode 6. I hope you make me laugh every single time so that I have trouble getting through the outro. I love both of you. Thanks for being here. We'll talk to you guys next time. See you later.